Today I'll be spending 100 days in Graveyard Keeper. It is a game about managing a graveyard and making questionable decisions. So join me as I harvest body parts, bury bodies in my graveyard, help an Inquisition regain its popularity, run a church, manage a workforce of zombies, and ultimately try to find my way home after being hit by a truck and transported to this world. So let's begin. I went out to buy something at the convenience store. But as I was going home, I suddenly got a call from the love of my life. And it just suddenly happened. Light, flash, and I was dead. Or so I thought, and I met this mysterious man right here. I'm not really sure what he was, but I'm assuming he's a Grim Reaper or something. Anyways, I asked him if I could return home or something, but he just told me that I should become a good graveyard keeper and I might have a chance of going home. He then told me to dig up someone called Gary. Dig up someone? As I asked that question to myself, I was then transported to this house right here. I then followed this yellow arrow which told me where to go and what to dig. So yeah, I remembered him saying like dig Gary or something. So this skull right here, this guy is Gary and he is going to be our guide since we're very much new to this world and new to the Graveyard Keeper gig. Anyways, as we were talking, a sudden bell just rang. So Gary led the way because he found that sound pretty familiar. So we're gonna check it out. And upon arriving, I see a donkey right here. And behind it is what looks like a dead body. This donkey is pretty magical. It's a talking donkey. Wow. Anyways, this donkey complained about how he is a cheap labor, this cart isn't his, and he has to work for the capitalist bastard who owns it for only 5 carrots a day. Oh my god, this poor donkey. So yeah, he just continued to complain. Anyways, his role is to bring dead bodies here from the town. And now with the corpse on the ground, Gary suddenly appeared and told me to grab that juicy corpse while it's fresh. We're going inside this underground area right here. I guess we can call this the morgue. And this is where we're gonna work on the body to extract its parts. Like right now we can only extract the flesh. And with this flesh we can actually cook it and eat it to make burger, sandwich, and baked meat. That's crazy. Cannibalism straight away. Crazy. And once we're done harvesting the parts that we need from the body, we then bury it. So burying a corpse is pretty simple. We just need to build like a grave site where we're gonna dig and bury the corpse. So first we dig, then we place the corpse after digging the hole, and then place soil on top, finishing our burying of the corpse. And we also get a burial certificate after burying a corpse. So burial certificates are worth like 1 silver and 50 coins if we sell it to the dead horse. It's a tavern in this game. Oh, by the way, this is the bishop. Yeah, Gary was telling us that the bishop is coming. No, my son. Yeah, this is the bishop and they've been waiting for a graveyard keeper for 30 years or something. He inspected my graveyard and he said it was a messy graveyard. So he said that there's no way of him promoting me to a cleric unless I fix this graveyard up. So basically, the cleaner the grave is, the more points we have. Or basically, the better the decoration a grave has, the more points we have. And this man told me that he comes here every certain day of the week, which is this purple circle icon right here. So the days here work differently. Instead of numbers, we see symbols. And in that certain symbol, they will come here. Anyways, in order to make this bishop happy, we need to have a score of like 5 points on this graveyard. The current quality of our graveyard, it's negative 29. So we have a lot of work to do in order to make this place pretty. For now, I got working on clearing up the random branches that are in the graveyard. Next, with the small amount of repair kits that I have, I will repair most of the stuff here at the graveyard. And after I was done fixing and cleaning up the place, our quality level is now negative 12. So that's pretty good. A huge improvement from negative 29 to negative 11 now. As for my next goal, I need to go visit that town because I was pretty curious what's in the other side of this area. We have a suspicious looking area right here being guarded by a guard. We also have a wheat field right here. I can't really harvest it since it's not mine. And finally, we have reached town, and this is the tavern I was talking about called the Dead Horse. I then talked to Horadik right here. He is the tavern keeper. I asked a bunch of random questions. I also told him about my situation, that it has been crazy so far. And also, I'm handling the graveyard right now. I was pretty happy that there was a new graveyard keeper in town to take care of the graves. I asked him a couple of questions. The one that really highlights this conversation is regarding selling meat. I won't be able to sell him some meat unless I find a stamp that can like stamp the meat, that is like make it legal to sell it to him. It is pretty expensive, so he told me about a person called Snake. He is usually underground the church or something. Anyways, after all that talk, I then sold him the burial certificate that I have. And then I noticed that he had an item called a teleport stone, but I don't really have the money to purchase it. I need to find a way to earn like 2 silvers so I can buy the teleport stone. I then met this guy right here. He is Kresvolt and he is the blacksmith in this town. I then gave him a letter that Horadik gave us to give him. And with this letter, we were introduced properly to this blacksmith. Anyways, he gave me a rusty sword and a whetstone. He wanted me to take care of 2 slimes that were jumping around in the area. Also, after talking to him, I unlocked a blueprint for a furnace, iron ingot, and gathering of swamp irons. So first, I grinded the rusty sword so it is usable. And next up, we'll need to fight 2 slimes. Since I ran out of energy, I just drank like an energy potion that the blacksmith gave me. So it was now time for combat. So we have 2 slimes right here. I used my sword to slash them to death. It was pretty easy, just like 3 slashes and they were dead. I then reported back to the blacksmith and he gave me 5 pieces of simple iron parts. Also, because I finished this quest, my relationship with him increased by 10. So that's pretty good. The more relationship you have with NPC, the more you can do with them. Like trade better stuff. Like right here, we need to sell him stuff in order to unlock like tier 2. Now I was just on my way home. It's already day 2 because the day have passed. You can actually see if the day have passed at the upper left side. Anyways, as I arrived home, Gary then surprised me and asked me where I have been. So I told him I went to the village. I told him that it was so weird that everyone just finds me being here pretty normal, like nothing's happening. Anyways, Jerry remembered that he had some stuff at the cellar which I should go to. And also, I have unlocked a new thing to do, which is gathering. I also learned the recipes for making bread, pastry dough, and dough. And now that I'm back home, it's time to visit our basement. It was full of sounds. Also, there was this guy right here. So let me introduce you to this guy. This guy is Snake. He is the person we're gonna need to talk to in order to get that stamp. Because we don't want to spend 30 silver in buying a stamp. Can't really interact with him yet because there's some blockage along the way, but we can clear it out once we have the sufficient materials to clear it out. So before sleeping, because I have no more energy, I use up all my energy to clean up a bit of the cellar. There were a couple of flowers here and there, which was pretty nice since I can use this to make bread. And in one of the trunks here, there was a recipe for something called Simple and Tasty. So I used it and see what it had. So I can now create something called a baked mushroom and baked apple. So it's mushroom on a stick and apple on a stick. And since we don't really have any source of energy right now, I just decided to sleep to recover our energy. Usually you will eat food in order to recover energy. But in this game, even if you constantly like eat stuff, you will get tired and it will drain your stamina. So you still need to sleep. And while I woke up, this ghost just appeared out of nowhere and asking who I was. So I told him I'm the new graveyard keeper here. Anyways, he was here to complain about a certain neighbor he has at their grave, and he would like me to do something about it. So in this game, in order to dig up a person that's already like buried, you'll need an exhumation process scroll, and I believe it costs like 1 silver and 75 bronze coins. But the ghost gave me one for free because he wants me to dig up something and, you know, put it away because he doesn't want that person as his neighbor. And so I did just that. So I grabbed this body using the exhumation permission, and while no one was looking, I threw it in the river. So now the ghost won't need to worry about a naughty or a bad neighbor. Suddenly, Gary came out from the bush out of nowhere. He asked me what I was doing here. I told him that a ghost wanted me to, you know, some other corpse. So Gary said, why should I listen to a ghost when he can't do anything to me? I should listen to Gary instead, because if ever I sleep, he can just like, you know, bite my neck and kill me because he's physical. So that's kind of scary, Gary. Anyways, Gary then told me about burning the corpse instead of like storing it in a river so I can get something like ash. But I'll think about what Gary said another day. For now, I need to figure out what I can do. So we have this building area right here where we can make a couple of stuff. But I don't really have anything that's interesting except for the furnace maybe. We'll need a couple of materials to start. Also, we have this technology tab right here where we can learn a bunch of new recipes. But we'll need like these orb things in order to unlock it. And to get orb things, we just need to do whatever we can in the game. So working like chopping or mining would give us the red things and sometimes the green things. I believe the green orbs come from like plant-related things or things that are alive. I'm not really sure. For example, digging up this little branch right here gave me red and green orbs. As for the blue orbs, I currently have no idea how to get it yet. For now, I just proceeded to clean the area. Once I had a couple of materials, it was now time to make a bunch of the stations that I can make. Like right here, I made the sawhorse. And because of the lack of food that I don't really have right now, each time I run out of energy, I just sleep it off to recover. And when I woke up, the ghost then visited me again. He said it is much nicer now at the graveyard without that person. Anyways, back to the sawhorse that I was making. I then hammered it down and boom, we have a sawhorse. And now that we have a sawhorse, we can now make wood belay and flitch. And with a wooden belay, I can now craft myself a chopping spot. And with this, we can make wedges and firewood. So yeah, we're progressing in the game. We can now make a bunch of new stuff. Since I had like a lot of energy and I didn't really know what to do, I just decided to chop a bunch of trees and also like dig a bunch of roots. So hey, if I ever need some wood, I have a lot already that I can work on. I then learned this technology that enables me to create a carpenter's table. And with a carpenter's workbench or the table, I can make some planks. Also, another thing I wanted here was to make the wood repair kit so I can continue repairing the graves at the graveyard. But I have one problem. I don't have nails. So we'll need to make something that enables us to make nails. So I just work with whatever I can. Currently, I'm making some wooden planks. Afterwards, I was so tired and have no more energy and food that I just slept. I had to get up though because I heard the bell from the donkey and we have a dead body right here where we can extract some meat. Yummy, right? So it's finally time to make use of all the meat that we've been gathering so far. After cutting it up, I then baked it. I will now have 4 pieces of this once it's done. It'll take a while so we can just leave it to cook. I decided to clean up the basement for now because I really have no idea what to do next. So yeah, cleaning the basement. Afterwards, I worked on clearing the path so we can talk to this person right here that's standing just besides the gate. But the moment I work on the path, he was like moving away and he is busy and we can't really talk to him anymore. So we have to wait for another day where he's gonna go there. Then we can talk to him again. Dang, I was too late. But actually, so yeah, the basement has a lot of pathings. This can lead to a shortcut in town. This can also lead a shortcut to the church and also the morgue. So the basement is pretty good. See here, this is the shortcut towards town. Awesome, right? Since I was here, I decided to grind my axe and my shovel because they were like rusty and I can't use them anymore. Also sold a couple of metals to the blacksmith that I have extra because I really wanted to buy the teleport stone that the tavern has. So I totally forgot I had the burial certificate. I actually didn't need to sell my metal. It would have worked out. But anyways, we now have the teleport stone. And with the teleport stone, we can instantly go home or come back to the dead horse. So it's very convenient. It's unlimited use. There's only a short cooldown on it, but that's fine. I then went to town and gathered a bunch of mushrooms. I was waiting for the blacksmith to come out of his house because there's something I wanted to buy. And after the blacksmith woke up, I then went to him because I needed some simple iron parts in order to make an anvil. And so upon returning home, I then crafted myself a wooden anvil. And with this anvil, I'm now capable of making some nails and simple iron parts. But I don't really have a furnace to make myself an iron bar. So we're gonna figure out how to make a furnace first, then we can continue doing this. For now, just north of my house, there is actually a little swamp looking area. And there are a lot of iron ores here that I can freely mine. So I of course mined everything as long as I have the energy to do so. I then teleported back to town and talked to the blacksmith. I needed to buy more simple iron parts from him. So the only choice I really have right now was to sell my iron ore in order to purchase like 4 pieces of those in order to make myself a furnace. Honestly, this trade costed me most of my iron ores, but finally I had 4 simple iron parts so I can make a furnace. So finally, we have a furnace. We have a source of iron bars, and we won't have any trouble looking for nails, iron parts, and complex iron parts now. There was one problem though. I ran out of iron supply and I don't know where to get some more. But well, that doesn't stop us from being productive. So I built myself another area or another station called the Stone Cutter. And with this, if ever I can find myself an iron ore vein, I can get a couple of iron ores from there. Also stones. Moving forward, I learned a couple of new technologies like making even better gravestones. So the better the gravestones are, the better or the more the quality it gives to the graveyard. Anyway, since I had like a lot of repair kits now for wood, I started fixing more of the graveyard so we can increase our quality. Almost forgot, I actually bought a beer for Gary. I bought it at the Dead Horse and I gave him a beer. It made him happy. It gave me like plus 20 points on his happiness meter. So he gave me an advice. He told me to not tell everyone around me that I came from another world and I'm the graveyard keeper. Because in this civilization, there's something called a witch hunt where they will burn you at the stake if they find you like weird, I guess. Anyways, I asked Gary how I can get home and he told me regarding a portal at the Witch Hill. So that's a point of interest we need to figure out. He also told me about a certain library under the church. So that's also another place of interest. And also a person called the Astrologer. He is a smart person and he may know the answer that we are looking for. He only comes to the lighthouse area whenever it is like a blue moon icon on the map. I'm not really sure what to call that day, but anyways, yeah, that's when the astrologer will come. For now, I focus my efforts on beautifying the graveyard. So we need to make some wooden grave fences so it looks pretty, not empty. I also crafted myself a bunch of gravestones. These stones give like, I believe 2 quality. So that's pretty good. Next day, my furnace needed some fuel and the best fuel currently that I am able to get is some firewood. So I made a bunch of wood billet or billet. How do you pronounce that? And after making the billet, we can chop them down to firewood. So yeah, fuel for our furnace. Honestly, did not expect that this process would be very long. I'm still chopping down firewood. It's already nighttime. And I already slept to recover energy. It's crazy. So yeah, whatever. At least we have a lot of fuel. Afterwards, I went back to the swamp thinking that iron ores respawn just like how trees grow again. But I was wrong. They don't respawn once you take them. So there's no more iron source up there. So I decided to journey a bit to look for some iron source. What I found instead is a tree with bees. So we can collect this to get some honey. And when you collect like honey from beehives, they damage you. They like sting you because you're like stealing their honey. I then found this abandoned place with a lot of these broken looking beehives. This is an apiary. So I just chop down the remains of these broken beehives and get the materials that I can. I eventually explored around my house and I found the garden, but I can't seem to use it yet because I need to have permission from the tavern owner. But I'm glad I found this place because this place has like 2 berry bushes and a couple of mushrooms that I can gather for food. I also work on fixing this hatch right here so the corpse will automatically slide inside so I don't need to carry them inside. The next day, I totally did not notice, but I had a water well here. And using this water well, I got myself a bucket of clear water. So in order to get water droplets that I need to make some dough, I gotta use this bucket of water. And here we have some water and now we can make dough. It's a lot of work, but after we're done making this dough, we can turn it into bread. And now we have a source of food to recover our energy. I can make about 28 pieces of bread. So yeah, awesome. We can now continuously work. We don't really need to sleep a lot, so we can continue working. Now we can just eat food. And crafted even more of these wooden grave fences so we can finally get that quality 5 soon. And after fixing most of the stuff at the graveyard, replacing the old broken ones, we now have a quality of 5. So once the bishop visits, we can tell him that we have a quality of 5. Let's go. The next day, I then unlock a couple of new things like making some glass, making an anvil, making new tools, also considering to get like weapons and armor. I then spent day 11 just mining down some rocks because I needed a lot of piece of stone. Also, the moment I returned home, Gary then popped out of nowhere screaming that the Inquisitor, he said that he spotted the Inquisitor to the path to the Witch Hill, so I really should pay this a visit. Gary is pretty scared that he will be killed when he's already dead and a skeleton. But anyways, yeah, let's investigate or go to the Witch Hill. So this guy right here is the Inquisitor. What is that voice? Anyways, I introduced myself to the Inquisitor, telling him that I am the Graveyard Keeper. He then asked me if I would like to join him on a witch burning ceremony. Of course, I agreed because I don't want to be the person that's going to be burned in the future. So this guy right here is the Great Inquisitor. He protects the one true faith and humanity itself. And he said that they're having a tough time at the town and the ship of the dead, whatever it is like fully loaded. So me being the graveyard keeper and the opening of the graveyard is pretty good. Anyways, this is the burning ceremony. They are burning a witch. There's not really much crowd here. It's not really that popular. They've been killing off a lot of people whom they deem to be witches. So yeah, crazy. So I really shouldn't get on this guy's bad side. Anyways, he said a friend of his is a friend of the Holy Inquisition. And he then asked me if I wanted to be his friend. I of course agreed because I don't want to be burned at the stake. It's a pleasure to be his friend for sure. Anyways, the Inquisitor will be here at the Witch Hill every time it's this symbol right here on the day. So we can visit him anytime we want. Not like I want to though, but yeah. After talking to him, I then explored the area. There seems to be like an ancient technology at the center of it. So there's a couple of burned house here with some flowers and a grave. Also found a vineyard, or do you call it a vineyard here? So yeah, pretty interesting place. I think we can plant some grapes here in the future. Since it was the blue symbol today, I decided to go to wherever there is a lighthouse. So I tried searching all over the town. So I'm not really sure where, so I just followed the path. Then I found this crazy old man here. I'm not really sure what's up with this old man, but he has someone he's talking to that I can't see. Understand what? I don't really know. But anyways, this guy gave me a quest to bring him some honey and he will teach me how to make a cake. So I need to bring him like 5 honey pots. I eventually found my way towards where the lighthouse is, and this we have spoken with the astrologer. I then introduced myself as the new graveyard keeper and then asked him if he could help me. He wanted me to bring him a skull first before he would help me. I questioned him if he is asking for Gary, the talking skeleton head, but no, he just wanted a normal skeleton, which we can easily get by doing an autopsy on our next dead body that the donkey will give us. We'll need to learn this skill though so we can extract some skulls. Next up, I spoken to this other guy right here who looked like a fisherman. So we talk about fishing and he said that he would give me his old fishing rod if I catch him like 5 or was it 6 moths. So sure, we'll get a fishing rod once we've captured like 6 moths. So that's pretty interesting and something to look forward to. Not only that, he also taught me how to cook fish. So we have fish soup, baked fish, and fish nuggets. Anyways, after getting home, I then continued working on my graveyard because tomorrow the bishop will be coming and I want the graveyard to look as good as he expects. Next day, it's finally time to report to the bishop that we have fixed the graveyard. Let's go. He then pronounced me as an official keeper and I can now make use of the church. So every time it's the purple day, we can give sermon to the people who would like to visit this church. So the bishop told me that I can just speak the words or basically just say whatever I want and then, you know, that's it. And because of this, we now have a new perk called the Preacher. We can now preach the words of the church. So let's try this out using a casual prayer taught to us by the bishop. Well, good enough, right? And with that, I gained like 3 faith. Anyways, after talking to the bishop, I then got a blueprint for a study table. I can also gather old books. Then I have a perk of a curious mind, which gives me like a story each time I try to study something. So we finally have access to the basement of the church. So there are a couple of things here and there at the storage here. There's a recipe for a speed potion as well. So I made sure to learn this. Now we can create a speed potion. The stuff down here are mostly broken, but they can be recycled. So that's what I did. Also, there's a station here called the study table and we can study stuff, and by studying stuff we can earn a bunch of the either red, green orbs, and we can also learn about another purpose of an item. Sadly, we lack something called science and we can't really study anything right now, so yeah. So in order to get science, we'll need to get paper. So I learned this recipe or technology for paper crafting. I then made myself an anvil, a way better anvil than the wooden anvil that we already have. So the new thing we can craft with the new anvil is the complex iron parts. Also, we can make better tools with this anvil, so pretty excited to get the materials to make the tools. So I will of course make all of this. So we have the axe, the shovel, and the pickaxe. Currently we're wearing, I believe, some rusty axe, shovel, and pickaxe. Next day, after waking up from bed, there was a sudden person inside my house. Like, what? He then said sorry for the intrusion and he said he is not a thief. He said he escaped from prison like days ago. I'm not really sure what he's doing here. Anyways, he introduced himself as a Marquise, one of those nobles. So his full name is Marquise Teodoro Jr. And he and his friends were sentenced to the fire by the Inquisition. And he's trying to ask help from us because we know something that they don't. Anyways, I followed him to where the refugees are taking their camp. And as you can see, it's a pretty poor condition. So what this guy wanted from us is our ability to survive. Because they're from a noble bloodline, they don't really know how to live in the wild. And it's up to us to gather food and water for them, or make them a well, or make them a tent, or make everything so they can live. I also spoke with a former inquisitor here called Master Alric. He currently has like really bad hearing, so we gotta scream. Yes, make it capital so it seems like we're shouting. Of course. I then explained to him what I do as a graveyard keeper. After that, I just left. So in order to craft stuff like tents and wells, I need to make the refugees happy. And In order to do that, I must provide them with water and food. So yeah, that's a lot of responsibility on me, but he said he will pay me, so sure, I will do this. I then noticed that there was a broken bridge towards another area of the map. And I just need a wooden plank and some nails and I can repair this. So yeah, that's gonna be one of my goals. Because honestly, I'm just looking for a source of iron right now. So with iron, we can like make nails or something. The next day, I then went to the blacksmith to sell my old tools. I didn't really need them anymore since I have improved ones. Also, since we really can't find iron, I just bought myself some iron ingots so I can make nails. It's way cheaper to just make the nails than buy the nails themselves. Or that's what I thought. I'm not really sure, but I believe it is. I then talked to our friend Donkey right here, and he's pretty angry now that we own the graveyard. He said that I'm a true capitalist now, and he is not like him, which is working for someone. He even complained that we are benefiting from his cheap labor. Oh my god, this donkey. So he gave me a little present, which is poop. Yeah, amazing. What a nice donkey. Oh, it makes me slide though. It's like ice skating, but with poop. Anyways, on this dead body, I extracted a skull since the astronomer needs me to give him a skull. So there's this mechanic of a red and white skull here. So the more red we have, the more negative quality we'll get on our graveyard. So usually I just throw those bodies in the river or something. Anyways, if you extract the right material, it will remove the red skulls. And most of the time, if I remove blood, it usually takes like one of the red skulls. The next day, the blacksmith then visited me. He told me that there was an emergency going on in town right now and everyone is being called to the tavern because vampires are in the village, they said. So yeah, we gotta go to the tavern. So basically, there was 3 victims of this vampire attack. Shane, the farmer's son, and Rose. But instead of like discussing whatever we should be doing, some people were just advertising their shops or something. After the meeting though, Horatic then asked me to investigate the stuff regarding the vampire. Told him I would agree, but he needs to pay me because I'm pretty busy myself. And while I was here, I then asked Horatic regarding the garden that we have seen in our home so we can make use of it. He said it was seized by the merchant, but he can give me permission to use it. So yeah, finally we can use the garden. Also, this is the path towards the town, but since we don't have a town pass, we can't really go through. So the last thing I need to do here in this town is to buy like a metal ingot so I can make some nails. The last metal ingot I bought, I actually used it to make more tools. While I was on my way to fix the bridge, Bruce Lee right here decided to confront me that I am a vampire. He made me eat some garlic just to prove that I wasn't a vampire. What choice did I have? I did not want to fight this guy. It's a waste of time, so I just ate all the garlic. And the last thing he wanted me to do was put a wooden stake in my heart, but that would kill me, so I actually didn't do it. Anyways, I convinced this guy that I will investigate regarding the vampire and I will find the vampire myself. And if not, then he can put the wooden stake in my heart. Alright, so back to the bridge. It's time to fix this with the nails that we have recently made. So in this other area, there was a fishing spot here. There was also a spot to shovel up some river sand. So cool. There was also a bunch of flowers which I picked up because flowers, you can eat them and it gives like 3 energy each. But basically it's 1 because, you know, you use 2 energy to pick like a flower. So yeah. I found a lot of iron ores here though, so that made me happy. Now we can start making some iron ingots again. There was honestly a lot here scattered all over the place. And by the time that morning came, I already collected a huge amount of iron ores. This place was honestly like a maze to reach the center, but good thing there's something that we can do to make like a bridge here for a shortcut. But I did not have the materials right now to do it. So in this place, the swamp, there was a witch or a witch doctor that lives here. I look more like a witch or a fairy princess. I don't know what to say. A fairy princess. then you can be my prince. Situation of this fairy princess right now is that she has forgotten her memories, but she made a note for herself to make a certain potion that will make her remember. But she'll need a cauldron to do that, and we'll need to find a way to get our hands on a cauldron. Anyways, by speaking with this fairy princess, we now learned how to make some alchemy workbench, hand mixer, and an alchemy mill. And since I picked up a lot of flowers, I then place it in the refugee tent so they can eat the flowers. That should make them happy. The next day, I went back to town because I needed to speak with astrologer. I now have the skull that he needed. And now that I gave him the skull, I then asked about a portal at the Witch Hill. So the astronomer used to have a graveyard keeper friend. He suddenly disappeared and he hasn't spoken with him since. But he knew about the portal. He then mentioned about the graveyard keeper finding a way to activate it, and it should be in his diary, and I need to look for it. So he gave me like a key, and it will open up a metal gate in the northern part of the church cellar, basically where we saw the man standing around the gate. And once we get like the diary from beyond the gate, we can give it back to the astrologer and he'll figure things out. Anyways, upon going home, I then process all my iron ores into ingots. I also checked out the garden because I wanted to see how it works. I didn't really have any seed right now, but I just wanted to try it out. Actually, I had some seeds. The donkey's poop contained like 12 pieces of carrot seeds. So yeah, we can plant these and grow carrots. So yeah, it was an actual good gift from the donkey. The next day, I then spoke with the donkey again, and he is currently on a strike, and he won't bring corpse anymore unless I listen to his demand. And one of his demand was to give him some oil so we can put grease on the wheels because it's been creaking a lot. And he also demanded a day off on the day when the bishop comes to the church. Aside from that, he will now be requesting like 5 carrots per corpse in the future. I then spoke with the bishop since he was here today, and he had given me a task of making like 20 bowls. He also gave me a cleric's beginner guide to get started with this and earn our very first blue orbs. We'll learn how to gather some sand and some clay. So with this, we can make some bowls. Anyway, it's time for our weekly sermon because, you know, we need faith to study stuff. I really need to improve my church because there's only like 2 seats here and there's not much people because there's not much seats. So let's improve our quality next time. After giving the sermon, and then proceeded to gather a bunch of clay so I can start making those bowls. And in order for us to make the bowls, we need to have a potter's wheel. And with the potter's wheel, yes, finally, we can make the bowls. Also, now that we had some clay, we can continue making those stone repair kits. So I finished off repairing everything in my grave, and now the quality is around 10. Actually, make that 11 because I changed the gravestone on this one. Then talked to a person called Miss Charm in the Dead Tavern, but she did not want to speak to me unless I have a lot of faith with me. Basically, she's asking like 5 faith before I can talk to her. So I instead had a conversation with this man right here. He is a well-known poet in town, and he had a request for us. He wanted us to provide him with some paper and ink. So I said sure. I then encountered this rich-looking dude with his fur coat, and he requested me like 5 pieces of silver quality fish fillet, and I have no way of getting those right now because I don't even have a fishing rod. I also met a woodcutter right here who was looking for like a good axe, and since I have like an axe tier 1 that I made before, I can give him that axe and he will give me a recipe. So I gave him my axe and he gave me some recipe for cooking, so we can now make some lasagna and pasta. So the next day I had to make myself another axe because I gave the only one I had yesterday. Afterwards, I headed to town and spoke with the merchant right here. He is the owner of the garden. Currently, he has a problem having hiccups, so I had the option to scare him. So I tried it out. Why not? I'm not sure if that worked, but anyways, I think he was mad or something. Anyways, I discussed about him about the garden, and he flexed that it costed him only little. So he's asking me for like 10 gold for it. I don't really have the 10 gold to pay him, or not even less than that. So instead, he asked me to deliver a batch of carrots, cabbage, and beets. I mean, what choice did I have? Like, I needed that garden to grow some crops, and that's the only garden I have, and it's not mine, so sure. He then asked if I had some hiccup grass. I do, but I left it at home, so I'll come back with it. So checking whatever the merchant was selling, he sells silk, some grape seeds, and some high quality food and jewelries. But I'm too poor to even afford those, so yeah. And looking at the garden, my carrots are already ready for harvest. Has it been long already? I'm not really sure. I don't remember when I planted these. So harvesting the carrot earned me a couple of seeds back. I also really need to make a storage here so I can keep the seeds and the crops here. And so that's what I did. I grabbed the materials and now we have a storage for our crops. Next thing I did was gave the donkey the carrots, but he is not satisfied yet. He won't be delivering any dead bodies anytime soon unless I gave him the oil that he needs for his wheels. For now though, I went to the wheat field to look for wherever the house of the farmer was because I wanted to buy more seeds. It also taught me a bit of cooking recipes, so that's pretty good. I couldn't really afford a lot of seeds, so I just bought a couple that I can make use of. At the very least, we have some. I then had a realization of how poor I am and I really need to find a source of money soon. Moving on, now that we have the key, I wanted to speak with Snake right here. So this is the name of this guy right here. We haven't really introduced ourselves yet, so I told him I'm the graveyard keeper, and he actually didn't want me being here. I did not have enough faith to convince him, and I still don't have the proper key to give him to open the cellar. So I threatened him with my sword. But yeah, I got scared along the way because he looks more menacing than I do. So I actually need faith in order to convince him. So we'll need to wait for the church day again so we can have some faith. And so for now, I just focus on working on random things like selling stuff to the blacksmith so I can have gold, and buying even more seed from the farmer so we can plant some more, giving us an unlimited amount of energy supply once the produce are fully grown. It is a lot of work, but it would be all worth it at the end, and we will have a lot of food source. I then gave the crazy old man the honey that he wanted, and now I learned how to make some cake. Let's go. Afterwards, I sold more stuff to the blacksmith because, you know, money is power in this game. We can buy more seeds with this. Also, the crazy old dude actually sells something called a hemp seed, and a hemp seed is used to make some hemp rope. I also bought myself a seed oil to make the donkey happy. So now with this, he can continue giving us some dead corpses as long as we provide 5 carrot each day for it to eat. For this body though, I have rested everything, and its only remaining skull is the red one, so I just threw it at the river. I didn't want any bad spirits in my graveyard right now because I wanted more quality. I then visited the refugee camp. It's been a while since I last visited them, and it seems like the amount of flowers and water I gave them made them happy, so now I have the max amount of happiness. I can't craft anything here for them yet though, but my primary focus should be the water well, so I don't need to keep giving them water. Currently, I've been needing a bunch of paper to get some science. So the main material to make paper right now would be the bat wings. About, I think, 5 or 10 pieces of bat wings produces like a pigskin paper, which then produces like 4 papers each of 1 pigskin paper. So the swamp close to home actually spawns some bats, so this is a pretty good hunting ground every night. So finally, it's sermon day or the chapel day. We can finally get some faith in order to talk to the snake guy. Hopefully we get like 5 faith though. So I gave the bishop the bowls he was requesting, and now he gave me a cleric's beginner guide. He then handed me out my next task, which would be to get a quality of like 30 in the graveyard and reach 20 in the church. So using the cleric's beginner guide, I got myself like 5 of the blue orbs. So finally, we can learn something that required blue orbs, but I'm not really sure what to learn. I decided to go for learning gathering of bugs because we really needed the moth in order to get a fishing rod. So currently my priority is to improve the church quality so I can get more faith. I also like to venture near the refugee as there are many trees with bees so I can get some honeys. Next day, most of my crops were already ready for harvest. Also, I started to extract skins from the body because I need the skin to make myself an armor. And for the cake that the old man, the crazy old dude, the recipe he gave us, it actually gives an effect of like giving us extra points when studying new items. So if ever we use the study, we should eat cake to get those extra points, more blue points. I wanted to see if I could grab a couple of apples or produce here, but yeah, it doesn't work. But I can grab the berries though. I then continued questioning people regarding the vampire. Since Erratic wanted me to investigate this, I need to do it so I can make him happy. And when he's happy, we can unlock more stuff to buy at his shop. Next thing I did was go to the merchant and gave him the hiccup grass that he wanted. But the moment he ate it, he has lost his sense of taste. So now he wants me to find an old fortune teller to cure his no-taste tongue. Just basically Clotho, the witch that we have met at the swamp. I then showed him all the vegetables that I have made at the garden that I've been using on his property. Anyways, for my next quest on the merchant, he wanted me to get myself a trade license, which can be bought by a box besides the church. And I believe it was 5 silver, or was it 50? I then visited Snake again because now I had enough faith to convince him. So he said I'm useless and also harmless, so I can help him open this gate. So he gave me these instructions for the key. I need to use it in the study in order to make the key that I have be usable to open that gate. And guess what? In order to proceed with this quest, we'll need more faith in order to study this, as well as the science that I've always wanted to get. So I took a look at how I can make the stations here at the cellar of the church. So I started making more stations here so I can start doing whatever I can inside here. Most importantly, this thing right here called the church workbench. Because with this, we can now make paper using bat skin or human skin. And since it was a day that the Inquisition will go to the Witch Hill, I went here and visited our friend. He wanted me to aid in the Holy Inquisition, so he has given me a task to collect about 20 firewood and a bunch of flyers for the advertisement so we can get people to watch the burning of the witch. So that's something I need to look forward to give him so we can watch him burn the witch, hopefully not us in the future. Anyways, I continued hunting the bats that spawned near my home because I needed paper. The human skins can be used too, but I'm planning to use it to make an armor, so I'm not using it to make paper. Bats also spawn along the road towards where we get like honeys. Or at least we have a source of paper. Nothing much really stood out on day 30. I just harvested the crops that I planted and also made a couple of materials. As for my church, I built a couple of church benches. This will surely increase the quality of my church. Well, not by a lot, but at the very least, I get about 4 faith per sermon now. I really should improve this more. I believe before I can only get like 2 or 3, but now we get 4. Also, hemp ropes are pretty great because when you make a hemp rope, you actually get blue orbs because of this. Only 1 though, but it helps since it's pretty rare. And now that we have paper on hand, I can now turn this into science. And with science, I can now start researching stuff. I totally forgot to bake and eat cake, but whatever. I just wanted to try how many points I can get with this. And oh my god, that's a lot! I then teleported to the dead horse because I remembered that I had a quest to give this person some paper. I still don't have the ink though, so we can't really complete this quest yet. I then continued my investigation regarding the vampire. So basically, she said that the vampire lured her inside a barn, imitating a pregnant cow's sound. I don't know how it sounds like, but maybe moo or something. But she said once the vampire like drank her blood, it spat it out like because she has like blood type B or something. I don't know what's wrong with blood type B. Maybe the vampire doesn't like it. And I also purchased some milk from her because I needed the milk to make like pastry dough. Because with pastry dough, we can make cake. For day 32, I decided to work on my graveyard because I swear to God, I haven't been tending this ever since I got the approval of the bishop. I also built up a couple of candle barrels in order to increase the amount of quality that my church has. I then went to the crazy old man to buy more hemp seeds because making hemp ropes gives me like blue orbs and I really need blue orbs. I then baked myself some cake, so if ever we want to study, we can have this cake to get some extra points. And I totally forgot, but I actually already gathered a bunch of moth and gave it to the guy who wanted the moths at the astrologer area. And now I have a fishing rod. As you can see here, fishing is pretty harder. I'm just bad. But hey, I caught one. Let's go. And while exploring around, looky what I found. So it's like some place where I can mine. This is actually a coal deposit. It gives way more fire than the firewood that we give to our furnace. So I guess I can frequent here to gather more coal and use this as fuel instead. I also found a little house right here and it seems like I can sleep here. So wow, so this place is actually called the Quarry. And we can also instantly teleport here, which is great. So we can just come here if ever we need some iron blocks or stone blocks. There's a bunch of sources here because the iron vein, stone vein, marbles are available here. We can basically convert this large chunk of iron into 5 pieces of iron ore. So that's pretty great. And so I then built a couple of stations here at the quarry so I can convert all the iron blocks into iron ores. I grinded here for a bit to grab a couple of iron ores before heading home. This is the process. You just mine the chunk, place it in the stockpile, and then process it to iron ore. So this thing right here called the carrot cutlet is gonna be our main source of energy. It's gonna provide us with so much energy and it's very easy to make. It just takes carrot. Also, I have made a new station at base. So now we have something called a circular saw. And with this, we can make wooden beams. And with wooden beams, we can finally clear areas underneath the church cellar and underneath our house. So yeah, I worked on it and now we have easy access towards our church cellar. Also this pathing right here, so we have easy access to the shortcut towards town, but we can also just use our teleporter. Anyways, I then bought a bottle of ink from the astrologer and now I have finished this quest with this guy right here. He then told me that he can write me some silver stories for a silver bottle of wine. So yeah, these stories are gonna be useful later if we want to have our sermons improved. I then decided to make another furnace because currently my only one is occupied with making iron bars. So I have improved the quality of my church and it is now 17. And just take a look at how much faith I'll be getting out of all the people here. Well, spoiler alert, it's around 5. Way better than before. And using the recently gained faith, I have researched the key. So now all we need to do is wait for the green day so we can talk to Snake and open the gate. And since I still had some faith remaining, I decided to eat some cake and study. I earned quite a bit of blue orbs with this, so I'm pretty happy with this study session. I then decided to learn how to make better gravestones. This would surely help the quality of our graveyard. Afterwards, I explored the area for some available stones in the surrounding because I plan to make those graveyard stones. So this is when I discovered that crafting stone fences gives you blue orbs. About 5. So this is honestly a game changer. So it's not only study, but we can get some orbs through crafting. Of course, I did not waste the graveyard fences. I changed most of the wooden ones and the empty ones and added them some stone graveyard fences. I'm not done yet, but I did increase the quality to 24. And so I continued my hunt for pieces of stone because, you know, I would like a lot of blue orbs so I can learn a lot of new technologies. And then I discovered this giant stone pile. It actually produces like a block of stone, which can be converted into 5 pieces of stone. So this is handy. I only carry like 1 giant rock at a time, but I'm being smart here. So I'm just gonna push this thing healing towards my base while I carry one. And so whenever I'm in need of blue orbs, I just grind some stone and craft more grave fences. Then went to the quarry to collect a bunch of coal because my furnaces doesn't have any more fuel. Afterwards, since it was a green day, it was now time to talk to this snake guy and I gave him the key. Anyways, while I was just looking around, I stepped on this fire thing and I died. This is my first death in the game. So hey, at least we respawn and we can continue our progress. So I went back to the place like nothing ever happened. Snake actually saw what happened and he was just amazed how I'm immortal. And he was kind of bitter about it too. You're such a useless idiot, yet you're immortal. That's totally not fair. Truly, truly. I then looked around the place and I found a person in chains. Or yeah, a zombie basically. This zombie was pretty weird because he wanted me to hit him. I mean, what? Alright. Anyways, after hitting him, he was then happy to answer any question I wanted to ask him with. So this guy is Gunther, and he is an undead person or a zombie. He was one of the weird variants because he turned out to be a smart zombie. Anyways, he told me about his brothers or other zombies that we can possibly make work for us. So basically, we can now have labor for free in our base. We just need to make a lot of zombies using corpses. So to make a zombie, we need to have a certain potion to have the corpse drink. But sadly, this guy doesn't have the complete formula. I did, however, get a recipe for a resurrection table. So yeah, we can resurrect zombies now. So since I was immortal, Snake had an idea that I should be the one exploring the dungeon since I don't totally die. He gave me a quest to collect a bucket of blood and also 5 bloody nails. As you can see here, this place, since it is a dungeon, is infested with monsters. And to get to the next area, we need to find the stairs that leads to the next area. Also, we need to kill all the monsters that is in the floor. Not only am I able to loot monster drops, but I can also loot some scraps that are dropped from the jars and the boxes down here. And so after reaching floor 2, I decided to stop for the day because I don't have any more HP and energy. I then made a 3rd furnace because 2 wasn't enough. Then went to town and sold a couple of my old equipments to the blacksmith. Totally forgot, but Gunther mentioned about a certain rock where his brothers might be inside. And so I dug up the rock and suddenly I learned how to make a sawmill. Zombie wood cutting, it said. And there was a zombie on the floor. So I guess I grabbed one of the zombies inside the rock. There was one more, so I continued removing the rock. And I got like 2 zombies with this. Cool. So actually, we can make these guys work. Not really sure what to do with them yet, so I decided to just store them inside my morgue. I then talked to the astrologer and gave him the diary. He then told me in order to activate the portal at the Witch Hill, I need to craft something called a spirit laser. And in order to craft it, I need something like an emitter, which requires the Mirror of Pride, Eternal Burning Coal, and the Salty Fork. Also, he couldn't really read the entire diary. He'll need some acid and restoration tools first before he can take a look at the rest of the diary. So for the acid, I'll need to talk to the witch at the swamp or buy it from her. As for the restoration tool, we need to find out where we can get it through the town. And since I wanted to increase the quality of the church, I crafted myself some candles to put at the Candelabra. It should have been obvious to me though that using candles would actually consume it and it will disappear after a day. So this was a pretty dumb move from me. But at least I know now that it can increase our quality of the church. I should only use this on a day where we can give sermon, so it will boost the amount of faith and money that we get. I then started learning structures that the zombie can work in, like the zombie sawmill and the zombie ore veins. I also learned a perk called Gentle Butcherer because I plan to increase the quality of my graveyard and I need to be very careful on extracting meat, blood, and other stuff from dead bodies so they don't build up on the red skulls. I then crafted myself an alchemy rack and also a scroll shelf. This is where our scrolls will go, and for the alchemy rack, all that is alchemy related. I then removed the block from going to the morgue to the church cellar, so now we have more easy access from our morgue to the church cellar. Honestly, I'm just going left and right, just fixing things and removing blocks. So since we fixed this, whenever a donkey like delivers its body, they will just slide inside. We don't need to bring it inside anymore. I also built a couple of things at the morgue, like another preparation table. I thought it was a different thing, but it was actually the same thing that we already have. And the resurrection table, where we're gonna resurrect a corpse and turn them into a zombie slave. Okay, so it's now time to make use of this zombie. I'm not really sure how it works, but let me just drag this one. So as far as I remember, you basically just need to make the zombie structure or the zombie area where they're gonna work, like this one right here. And then you put it there, and look, it's already chopping down some tree. But as you can see, the progress is very slow, but at least it's automatic. We don't need to chop trees anymore, we just need the zombie to chop it for us. But we will need like another zombie to transfer the wood that it cuts. It cuts towards our base. I also finish up the one at the mines, so now they can mine for us. I wanted some zombies, so I visited Gunther again. But yeah, he really doesn't remember the ingredients. But I searched up in this broken area right here, and I got myself 3 zombie juice. As I visited my morgue, there was this weird corpse that was moving around. What? I thought it'd be a zombie that would give us like additional helping hands, but it was this guy right here. So this guy's name is Yorick, and he seems to have bought a keeper's book from a creepy man with a scar. So I guess it's the dude that appears at the Green Day Snake. So he's looking for a secret area in our morgue. So he needs me to provide him with a key, and the only clue he has is it's on a skull of a talking skeleton. So I talked to Gary right here, but instead of telling him that there might be a key on his head, I decided to fool him and tell him that I can clean him up. But I decided to put it on hold for now because I wanted to earn more of the blue orbs. So I crafted a bunch of the stone grave fences. Honestly, the zombies that are working in the mines are pretty slow compared to the one that is like chopping the giant tree. I then worked on increasing the quality of my church. I recently learned a few new blueprints to improve my church. So here we have a little church shrine that gives like +5 in the quality, and also a confessional booth that gives +5. The next day I talked to the bishop, and he's pretty happy of the results that I have made here. So he is no longer disgusted in being here. So the only problem now is the quality of the church. So I finished up the confessional booth that I did not finish yesterday because I was out of energy, and talked to the priest. So the only thing left now is to give him like 3 quality fishes, and we will be done with his quest. The amount of faith that I get now with our new and improved in the quality of our church is about 7 faith. That's an improvement. Last time we only get like 5. Now we get 7 per week, so that's pretty good. One of the things I keep doing is like buying and restocking a lot of carrot seeds. Not only is this a great source of food and they're very easy to make, it can also be paid to the donkeys to give us more bodies. I then visited my zombie that was chopping a tree, and it seems its storage area was full already. So I really need a zombie porter to deliver all this wood to my base. So for now, I just had him deliver the wood because, well, he doesn't really need to chop anymore. I then decided to grind some blue orbs because there's a lot of technology that I really wanted to learn. Also, I wanted to learn a lot of perks. I then worked on crafting a bunch of these lanterns. So they're gonna be something that will help our zombies towards our base when it's nighttime. And this is what it looks like at nighttime. So yeah, it's gonna be very helpful for our porter zombies. Afterwards, I just continued gathering a lot of stone because I really want those blue orbs. There are a lot of perks that I can learn once I get those blue orbs. And now that I have enough faith collected from doing all the sermons, I can now resurrect or make a zombie. Let's go. So I guess it was that simple. You just need the fate and the zombie juice, and now we have another worker. So I'm gonna make this one the porter of our wood farm. And with this, our wood farm is complete, and we will have unlimited supplies of wood in our base. I will never have to worry about wood ever again. I then crafted myself a lot of wooden beams. I wanted to sell this to the merchant in town, so let's see how it goes. And upon visiting the merchant, I can't sell it yet because I'm not at the tier where I can sell wooden beams yet. So what can I do? Dang, I gotta increase my relationship with this guy. So for now, I sold some flitch. Hopefully it will unlock tier 2. I then went to the Dead Horse Tavern and asked more questions regarding the vampire. I wanted to ask Miss Chain right here, but she had a fight with Horadic and she wouldn't tell me unless Horadic apologizes to her. It was now time to actually craft a lot of the grave offenses and then earn a lot of the blue points. As for the excess amount of stone graves that I make, I just destroy them. I don't really have any use for them because there's just too many. I totally forgot to clean Jerry, so now that we have some river sand and water, it's time to clean him up. He liked our service very much, and we also like doing this because now we have the key that is needed to unlock the new area. Gave it to the man, and now he opened up the next area for us. So it looks pretty dirty. There are so many curious things here that I don't really understand. And so I started cleaning up the place. I was curious what I can get here, but most of the items here are just broken glass. Not really sure what this ore is, but I can't mine it yet. Maybe in the future once we upgrade our pickaxe or get the gathering skill. Yurik was then curious about this box that we see here, and he really could not resist but open this box, even if it said to not open it. And just look at what popped out. It was a ghost. And since it didn't have a name, we'll be calling it Smiler. And because of this encounter, we have learned a new blueprint called Soul Container and a workbench for the soul, I guess. We have unlocked a brand new technology tree called Spiritualism. I'm not entirely sure how this part works, but it's not really a priority right now. Anyways, I asked Smiler if he could answer my question, but before he would, he wanted to eat some berry pie first. So we'll need to bake him a berry pie and then he'll answer our questions. I then made myself a lot of flitch and sold it to Tress, the carpenter guy or the wood merchant, because I really wanted to unlock tier 2 so I could start selling him some wooden beams. And so after selling all my flitch, as you can see, it says that the vendor will unlock the new tiers of items tomorrow. And look at this. Now that we have increased our tier, we can sell all our wooden beam. But I have one small problem though. The merchant didn't have enough money to buy all my wooden beams. So that's kinda disappointing. I was excited to get a lot of silver. Merchant's money actually increases every day, I believe. But yeah, let's just come back here. We can continuously sell him like wooden beams whenever it's available. I mean, it's always available because we have a zombie that keeps getting us some wood. So it's basically free money. I then crafted myself some new tools. The shovel 2, the axe 2, the pickaxe 2, and an iron hammer. And the next day I went to the quarry because my iron ores were running out. I've been making a lot of complex iron parts and now it's time to get more so we can sell more to the merchants. In my garden, I made something called a compost heap, and what it does is it produces heaps and maggots using some crop waste that we get after harvesting our plants. Anyways, I've gathered enough faith again and now we can make yet another zombie. And for this zombie, I'm gonna put it to the quarry. So we will have 2 zombies that's mining ores. The mining part is very slow, but worry not, there's 2 of them now. So the only thing remaining here is the porter, so it can deliver all the stones, coal, and charcoal that it mines. So in order to increase my relationship with the blacksmith, I started selling a bunch of low quality metal materials like the simple iron parts, the nails, and even some iron ingots. So I kept making more so I can sell to the blacksmith. I needed to increase my relationship with him so I can sell him my old tools. Also, I totally forgot, but I had a quest with Snake right here regarding getting a stamp. Instead of buying a stamp for 30 silver, which is very expensive, I bet Snake can get us one, but we need to increase our relationship with him first. Meaning we gotta get the bucket of blood and bloody nails that he is requesting that is obtained from the dungeon. As for the restoration tool that the astrologer needs, he needs about 40 happiness, and I'm not sure how I can make this guy happy. Anyways, it's time to dive the dungeon again. There wasn't really anything new here, it's just a couple of bats and slimes. Anyways, back to my selling of stuff to the blacksmith, and as you can see here, I have taken all of the blacksmith's coins, but I'm not even close to reaching tier 2 in relationship with him. So this is gonna take a while, so I will be frequenting the blacksmith almost every day to sell stuff. I then continued raiding the dungeon, and this time there is a new enemy. It's a bunch of flies that are very easy to kill, just a slash of my sword. They drop a couple of powders though, really random. Life, health, order, toxic, chaos powders. I'm not really sure what they are for right now, but I'm pretty sure it's related to alchemy. After reaching floor 4, I encountered a new enemy. It looked like a person that's like fully armored. And finally, I got the quest item that Snake needed, some bloody nails. So those new creatures that I recently fought is the monster that would drop the items that we need. I almost died down here, but it's not like we really die. Anyways, I can't really do anything down there anymore, so it's time to go home. One of the rewards I got from the dungeon are occasional seeds that they give. So now I have some silver-starred lentil seeds that I planted in my garden. On this day, finally, I had the money to buy myself a building permission. It was about 20 silver, but at least we have completed this bishop's quest, and now our church has improved. So the church is now way bigger than before. We can add even more stuff inside it. And so for our next quest with a bishop, we'll need to have like 50 church quality and 800 graveyard quality. That's too crazy. But actually, the bishop said we only need to take 200. But still, that's a lot. We need more dead bodies in this graveyard so we can continuously grow the amount of quality we have. Afterwards, I just built a lot of stone grave fences again so I can obtain the blue orbs. As you can see, I'm just spamming the heck out of this. I can also convert the stone fences back to stone, but it's only one piece. So I feel like it's not worth it. It's better to just destroy it and mine more stones. At least with that, I can get some red orbs. And with all these blue orbs, I can get even more perks that will boost my productivity. Also, I have learned a new recipe called Gravestone number 2. This also gives me like blue orbs, and it's really good because I can now swap my old gravestones onto this one. This one would give more of the quality. I then crafted the bucket of blood that Snake needed. I already have all the nails that he wants, so I just need to give him all the quest item and can make him happy, and we can get the stamp and other stuff. After giving him everything, he actually had plans for these items. So he wanted to summon something. So he worded the magic word, or spoke the magic word, and let's see what happens. I wonder what he will summon. Auro Chiquino Aperino. He summoned a chicken. What? Maybe this thing is a demonic chicken. We'll never know, but we'll find out soon enough, right? I then crafted myself something called a vine press. So we can make a pail of berry, grape, or apple juice as long as we have the fruits. Right now, I don't really have any of those. We can also make oil with this, with fat, and seed oil with seeds. So with the stamp that Snake gave us, I can now package my meat and sell this package to the tavern. I was kinda hoping that the meat would be expensive, but it was actually pretty cheap. I guess it's better to just eat it and maybe sell wood and metal instead. I then crafted a couple of things in my house, but when I did, it felt like nothing changed, or I just did not notice. Also, I totally forgot that I had a body waiting. Its quality is now 1%, so I'm guessing it doesn't go to 0 or something. So since we forgot about this, I'm gonna extract everything and just throw this in the river. I then sold a couple of produce at the farmer so I can unlock its tier 2 items. Just wanted to see what kind of other seeds we can buy from this farmer. I then went to the word merchant and sold even more beams, and dang, this merchant doesn't have money to buy all of it. All their money from this point on. Alright, totally forgot. I now had the town pass, so I can continue trying to see what the town has to offer. But the moment I stepped into the area, I got struck by lightning and died. Even Gary questioned it. It seems I was struck by a higher power and they did not want me going out of this place. So currently, I guess the town is off limits for us. We're stuck in here. So our only hope of getting the items we need at the town is through Snake. Anyways, I got a couple of new recipes here at my graveyard. I can now make lawns, flower beds, and it increases the quality as well. So this is a pretty good filler. If ever we don't have any bodies to bury, then we can make use of this. While I was in town, I noticed that the blacksmith also buys firewood. So yeah, it's time to sell him a bunch of firewood. Forgot to mention, but sometimes the confessional have people inside and they would like to confess their stuff to you. So we get fate and a story. So it's a pretty good deal to check the church every now and then. I then sold a whole bunch of firewood to the blacksmith. I actually didn't know that there was a limit to this. So now they have no more value. So I instead just used it on my furnace as fuel. Also, I'm back again with my shenanigan of getting a lot of blue orbs. This is the fastest way I could think of. Just mining a lot of stones and then making them into gravestone. Also, we got a new worker. Finally, we have a porter for the quarry. So this is my last zombie juice that was provided for free. So now we can't really make any more zombie unless we figure out how to make more zombie juice. Also, it took me a while to figure out how to use the peats. So you can actually use it as fertilizer, I believe. I wasted a lot of them because I did not figure out how it works. But anyway, that's how it works. You basically just put the peat and then put the seeds afterwards. And I think it is a fertilizer. Not really sure. Also, I recently bought like grape seeds from the merchant. I wanted to raise some grapes, but for some reason, I can't plant them. So I guess it can only be planted at the area where we saw the vineyard. Vineyard? Question mark. I then unlock a recipe to create steel, and in order to do that, I'll need to make something called a graphite. Also, I need this graphite to be studied and turned into dust so we can make some ink with the dust plus water. Right now, I'm crafting something called a jointing, and this will be used to make a better church bench. So now we have a way better quality church bench. It has some silk in it, so I guess it's gonna be more comfy than our plain old church bench. It also gives a lot of quality in the church. Also, look at these pretty candles. Yeah, the church is bigger. I am able to add more. Also, the soft church bench adds like 3 quality each. So that's a lot compared to 1 that the normal bench adds. I also added a couple of new things at the church cellar. I now have a hand grinder. We can make the graphite, was it, into dust now. And with this dust, we can now make some ink. So yeah, awesome. Actually, not yet, because I needed to make something called an alchemy workbench. And with this workbench, we can now fuse water and the graphite powder and make some black paint. And then the black paint can be turned into ink. It was a pretty long process, but now we had some ink. So yeah, let's go. Finally, we can start writing some new stories and stuff, and we can make a new prayer. I actually made a mistake here. I crafted too many of these pen and inks. And I actually only needed 1 because you can continuously use 1 in order to write a story and stuff. But, well, I did not know that, and this is filling up my storage, honestly. Okay, so our church quality now is 55. So let's see how many faith we get through this sermon. I still don't have a new prayer yet, but yeah, with a quality 55, it should be a lot. So in total, I got about 12 faith. That's pretty much an improvement compared to how many we get before. For my next goal right now, I wanted to make a really good prayer that will increase the amount of faith we get per week. And I was lucky enough to craft this with a 60% chance of crafting a silver starred one. I got it. So yeah, let's go. So with this, we will have 100% and times 2 more faith than usual. Or compared to our simple prayer. The simple prayer is okay, but it's not like this one right now. So I am excited for next week to see how much faith we can gather. And since we've run out of zombie juice, I have no further use for my faith. So I just continuously studied a lot of things I haven't studied yet for the blue points. Also, I never stopped selling stuff to the blacksmith because I really wanted to unlock tier 2 so I can sell him my old tools. I then worked on cleaning the left side of the graveyard so we can start increasing the quality of this place. We can make lawns and flowers for now until we get like bodies that are good enough to put on our graveyard. Honestly, have no idea what I'm gonna do with all those wood. I already have like an unlimited supply at base, but I would need to remove them in order to clean up the area. So this is what the lawn looks like. So there are 3 choices of what kind of lawns you want to make. So basically, you can make use of this to like put in between 2 of your graves, as you can see there. So pretty useful gap, I guess. Afterwards, I continued selling a lot of metals to the blacksmith. I really want to unlock the tier 2, but it's taking very long. Also continued to grind a lot of the blue orbs because there are still so many technologies that I need to unlock or want to unlock, but I am held back because I don't have enough of these blue orbs. Anyways, let's try out our new prayer with 61 church quality. Let's see how much faith we're gonna get from this. Okay, that's amazing. We got a lot of faith, way more than what we get before. The donations are pretty good as well. Oh my god, this is amazing. And so my researching continues because now I have a lot of faith. I made sure to eat some cake first before I researched this for those extra blue orbs. Also, totally forgot where I got this trade license. I think I bought this for like 30 silver just besides the church. But yeah, I now have a trade license and I told the merchant about it. And he wants to partner up. So here we will learn how to manage crates. And we can just place any random item to the crates and it will get sold. So we just need to have something that transfers crates here. Honestly though, I'm not really sure what I'm talking about. But yeah, basically, once we make that crating system, we'll be able to sell a lot of random goods. We just need to put it inside the crate. Also, before we can do this, we'll need to have like flyers and such to advertise about our products. So right now we have a quest to improve the fame of this company or something. So in order to do that, we'll need to have marketing campaign. But that's something that isn't on my priority list right now. But I'll get back to this soon once I have some time. Also, I finally reached tier 2 at the blacksmith. So now I can sell my old tools. And they really sell for a lot. But it seems like the blacksmith doesn't have any money to pay me for this. So I'll need to sell it another day when the blacksmith has some money. I then headed over to the swamp to visit Clotho. And I thought I brought all the materials, but I was actually missing nails. So whenever we try to go back to the swamp again, we'll need to go through the maze all over again because I could not fix the bridge right now. Anyways, my agenda here is to give her the cauldron that she needed. Once I have unlocked the blacksmith at tier 2, he was actually selling the cauldron. So now we can finish our quest. And so I gave her the cauldron. Now she just needs some recipe. So see, I gotta get back here. So I gotta give her a life powder and a bee. I wish I could teleport straight here, but yeah, I can't. So we gotta go home again. And so I grabbed a couple of nails and the ingredients that she needed and went through the swamp again. I then fixed the bridge, so we now have a shortcut towards the swamp and to our farm. So yeah. Also, after giving Clotho the ingredients she needs, she made herself some potion, drank it, now she recovered her memory, and now she knows how to make the item needed for the merchant to cure his tasteless problems. We just need to make something called a spice, and all we need to do is salt and health solution together and we can make it. Also, by reviving her lost memories, we can now buy a couple of stuff from her store. So she sells the acid that we need for the astronomer, but I'm still thinking that I might be able to craft this myself, so I haven't bought it yet. It took me this long to finally figure out how to burn bodies. So Gary actually told me this like way before, maybe around day 10 or something, but I never really paid attention. But at the very least, we now know how to burn bodies, and we can get ash from this instead of just throwing the bodies in the river. I have a lot of like spoiling bodies here. What I usually do for spoiling bodies, I just harvest all the organs and throw them in the river, but now we can burn them afterwards instead. The process is pretty simple. You just put the body, you burn it, and then you just wait for a while and it turns to ashes and salt. I also started the constructions of my winery in my cellar, but it will take a while because I don't really have the energy and I don't really have wood right now to be able to craft these, but I do have the materials. Also, if you notice the fences in my graveyard, I have improved it and now it gives the graveyard 20 quality, and currently I have a total of 93. So I'm slowly making my graveyard beautiful. And with the fate that I had, I started researching even more body parts or other items that I haven't researched yet. There are still a lot, so it's gonna take a while. So with all the stuff I research, I can now process a bunch of random stuff to extract their liquid, to extract their powder form, and other stuff that I can work with the stuff that I have researched already. So these things are gonna be used in making like potions I haven't discovered yet. But ultimately, my goal right now was to make this spice right here. So this is for the merchant. So this is basically how you make wine. We'll need a pail of grape juice, and we haven't really planted any grapes yet. Also, I built another one of the vine press just below my cellar instead, so I don't need to work on this outside. I can only make the berry juice right now. So yeah, we really need to work our way on like planting some grapes. I continued processing most of the stuff that I can process because they're just eating away my storage space in my cellar. So yeah. And since today was Merchant Day, I then gave him the cure that he needed in order to have his sense of taste back. And now because he really likes the spices, he then gave me a quest to bring him 5 gold star dinners. Not really sure how to make this. It's just the spice, bro, but okay, we'll do our best. Currently, I'm at the point where I really wish I had a zombie working at my garden right now. But, well, we don't. So we're gotta have to figure out how to make the zombie juice because I really need a helping hand in this garden. It's too much work. I then asked Snake if he can find some items for me in town. So the Mirror of Pride, Eternal Burning Coal, and the Salty Fork. But he won't be able to help me until I give him the Necronomicon, which then he would give me the Restoration Tool, and I guess there's something in a continuation kind of quest here, so we can reach about 60 happiness points for Snake. Anyways, I decided to continue raiding the dungeon for now. Currently, we're at like level 4, and I plan to reach like level 5 today. And I managed to accomplish my goal, and now we're at level 5. So there's a very curious ore I wanted to mine here, and also there are now blue slime enemies down here. So as we go deeper and deeper, I guess the enemies get stronger and stronger. That's obvious. This thing that I'm mining, it's actually silver nuggets. So I guess we can find gold eventually as well, since we did found silver. One of the rewards is a chest in level 5 is a bucket of blood. I had to craft it my own, but I could have just actually proceeded with the dungeon and I could have gotten myself the bucket of blood. But no worries, it doesn't really matter. We can just store this, maybe we'll need it in the future. And currently we're at level 6 now. And I got scared here because I have no idea what it is. Is it a bloody bat that like leaves trail of fire? Is it blood? I'm not really sure anymore. But since I don't really have that much stamina and health anymore, it's time to go home. I then went to the Witch Hill and gave the Inquisitor the firewood that he needed and also the flyers. Anyways, now that they have a candidate to burn, we're gonna go and watch him burn another heretic. Okay, that's horrible. But anyways, I just hope it's not gonna be us one day. Oh my god. Meh. I've seen this show a bunch already. Oh, the crowd is bored. Plus, I'm getting hungry. Let's go. They're not entertained. Witch hunts are finally over. Seems your burning isn't so popular. 5 years ago, this place was packed. Whole families came to watch. Seems everybody just got tired of it. Only my holy anger keeps the Inquisition alive. Even our blessed Inquisition guards haven't been able to find a new witch for a month. It's because of the water shortage, but I think it's just a lack of motivation. Speaking of motivation, do you know how to grow grapes? And due to this conversation, we now have access to the Inquisitor's vineyard or vineyard. I still don't know. And so he wants me to bring him about 10 Silver Star wine. This will motivate his soldiers, and also if ever they're drunk, he said that there are more witch hunts happening if ever they drunk. I believe they're just picking random people at most because they're drunk or something. But anyways, that's our request right now, to bring him like 10 pieces of wine. So first, I worked up on clearing the way towards the vineyard. So we have a shortcut from the vineyard and our base. Thankfully though, we can actually put a porter here. So if ever our grapes are grown, our porter will just deliver it to our base or to our chest in base. I believe that's how it works. I'm not really sure. And now that I have the permission of the Inquisitor to build stuff on the other side of the graveyard, I then cleaned it up even just a little bit. I just pushed all the logs to the bottom part of it. At least it looks cleaner up, right? Right? And after I was done, a ghost suddenly visited me. I believe it's the same ghost that visited us on our very first days here that wanted us to like exhumate someone and throw them in the river. Anyways, he just wanted to talk to us for a bit and he disappeared. Well, goodbye. I then crafted myself a distillation machine here at my cellar. So with this, we can now make even more solutions. What I really need right now is to get the toxic extract so I can keep making acid, but I'm not really sure how to make this, so that's a problem right now. I renovated my base a bit because currently I really need a lot of stashes because I realized I've been making so many different items that I don't have enough storage. It is just a little renovation where I can have easy access to all of my stashes as well as my stations. So now that we're already at day 98, I'm more organized than ever. Than when I started at least. Also, I started working on my vineyard, planting all the grape seeds that I have. I also improved all my furnace to the best possible furnace. I think this is a level 3 furnace, or I'm not really sure how to call it. Improved furnace or level 3 furnace. I couldn't really figure out how to get the toxic solution, so I decided to just buy acid from Colodo. It would be the easiest solution since it's only like 5 silver and I can easily get the money back by selling wood and metals to the merchants in town. I then went to the farmer to buy a couple of new seeds that I haven't tried planting yet, since I already unlocked tier 2 and tier 3 from him, since I've been planting so many carrots lately and selling them. So I have a lot of money to spare. I bought up Silver Star pumpkin because Clotho wanted this and she will teach me how to make some pumpkin soup. Anyway, something weird happened as I entered the morgue. Gary was wary of me because I was with the Inquisition. But then I told him otherwise, I don't really support it. I'm just being a friend so he doesn't burn me. Anyways, I continued extracting decaying corpse because I always neglect them. One is even 0% already, as you see on the side. But it's fine. We're burning them because I need to make a lot of ceramic urns with the like ashes of the dead so we can make a stone columbrium. Or is that how it's pronounced? Columbrium? Alright, so we have finally reached day 100 and there's still so many things I need to do in the game. Like ready up the area or burning the corpses so we can have a stone columbrium soon. For now, I'll leave this body here. I actually ran out of like billet or the billets to make the burning areas for the body, so I'll just place the corpse there. It's already rotting to 0 anyways. I then went to Clotho and gave her the pumpkin, and now we have learned some pumpkin soup recipe, cabbage soup, and also vegetable soup. And so I gave the astrologer the acid, so the only thing we need now is the restoration tool. But in order to get this, we'll need to make Snake happy, but I'm not really sure what I need to do next. As far as I know right now, I don't really have any other quests to make this guy happy. So I think I'll need to figure out, or maybe we need to talk to someone else first before we can erase our friendship with Snake. For now, I just continued my daily routine of crafting a bunch of complex parts and beams, so maybe I can sell it later on. I haven't really paid the blacksmith a visit for a while now, so he has a lot of money that we can take by selling our stuff. And I continued the grind for stone because, you know, blue orbs are everything right now. I really want those perks to increase my... Actually, there's not a lot of benefits of perks. Like, one would increase your chance of getting a higher quality alcohol if you were, like, distilling alcohol. Another would be, like, getting extra items while crafting something. So, yeah, perks are great. So, we're gonna go for that. So, we're gonna farm a lot of stones. This time though, I'm crafting something that I can use. Higher quality grave stuff like this RIP stone right here. I then changed my old gravestone to the RIP one because it gives like 3 of these leaves icon, or basically the quality. And since today was a day where Miss Charm appears at the dead horse, I then brought like 5 fates so I can demonstrate some confidence and talk to her. I think you owe me an apology. I'm not a small man. I'm the graveyard keeper. But also I'm a big fan, so you can just call me keeper. Anyways, I asked her regarding Snake and the town pass, and she doesn't really like him, so she gave me some fake coins to throw at its face. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that. As for the town pass, she said that Snake can get me one with a decent amount of money. Afterwards, I just went back to my grave and worked on the gravestone that needs replacements, the one that has like a lacking quality. And afterwards, the grind for the blue orbs because yeah, I really need those perks. I then crafted myself a bunch of flyers. This will be used as marketing campaign on selling our crates that the merchant like gave us the opportunity of. So basically, we need like 1 fame in order to craft more pallet, and at maximum we can craft about, I believe, 9? I'm not sure, but definitely more than 7. After that, and then made myself the crate factory. So this is where we're gonna craft goods that we can sell via the merchant network. This makes it easier for us to sell some goods without even interacting with the merchants. We just need 1 zombie to deliver the goods that we're gonna craft and deliver. And then since it was a green day, Snake is here, so we can now throw the coins at his face. Moving on, I still need to increase my relationship with Snake in order to be able to interact with his other options. So we really need that Necronomicon that the astrologer has. So back to my daily work of gardening, making stones, getting stones, and other stuff. I also never forget to work on my grapes because we need a couple of wines, especially for our quests. Also because wines will serve as a potion because it also heals like HP and it heals a lot of energy. So yeah, I really like making wine. And because I recently harvested some onions that I planted, Horadic then smelled like the scent of onion on me. So he wanted to teach me some recipe of his regarding some onions. So now we are able to create onion rings and toast with onion. I then made myself even more zombies as I wanted an army of workers so I don't need to work anymore. That's the life goal. So for the recently made zombie, I'm gonna have this work as a porter at our crate factory. So whenever we have a crate made, this zombie will deliver it to the warehouse where the merchant is. Afterwards, more grinding of course because I'm just waiting for time so I can interact with the NPCs so we can proceed with our quest. I also check the refugee camp every now and then. I just wanted to see what I can do to improve this area because currently I'm not really helping out a lot, but I do give them some food so I can increase their happiness. I then continued making myself some zombies, but since I don't really have any use for them, I just left them at my house. I'm afraid that the Inquisition will find the zombies and like question us or something. Also, I decided it's finally time to automate our garden, so I made myself a zombie farm. We just need to put a zombie here and it will grow crops for us and also plant them, so we don't need to do this anymore. And because of how good I think it is going to be in the future, saving us so much time from planting it ourselves, I am now going to destroy most of my garden to make room for the new zombie farms. What a masterpiece. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Truly astonishing craftsmanship. I know, right? Your Holiness. Alright, so we have the bishop here admiring our work at the graveyard. So now he's asking me to make a statue of him. So yeah, he wants like 3 statues from me. He wants one for his office, the second one is for his soup kitchen, and as for the last one, he wants one here at the graveyard. So, okay, cool. That's our new quest for the bishop. Anyways, back to the garden I work. I had to remove everything in order to put the zombie farm, so it's gonna take a while. Also, zombie planting carrots or any other crops actually takes a while. I'm not really sure how these things work, but yeah, they do take time, but at least you don't have to monitor them. You can just set it as unlimited amounts, so whenever there's like seed in your storage, the zombie will continuously plant the carrots or whatever vegetable you want them to plant. For now, I decided that 3 of these zombie farms were enough. The only problem we have currently is we don't have zombies to place and make them work. Another corpse has arrived, so now we have a zombie that will man our farm. Let's go. So right now, I think the best seed that will suit my needs is mostly carrots, honestly. Because carrots, you can pay the donkey so he can keep giving us body. And also, carrot cutlet is a really simple recipe of just carrots, and it provides like a lot of energy. I then went to the merchant and told him that our company has become well known. So that is from the fame we got from submitting a bunch of flyers. He said that we can't sell more than 10 crates at a time or per week because of restrictions. But hey, I think I can't even make like more than 5 a week, so this is fine. If you want to see the process of the factory, basically the zombies will get all the blocks and put it inside. But we have a problem here. We don't have a lot of pallets here, so I need to build more so my zombie has something to place the box to, or else he will go in an endless loop of going back and forth because there's no place to put the box in. Anyways, after fixing that problem by making more pallet, I forgot to mention I bought a couple more grape seeds from the merchant, and now we can plant even more grapes. Since it was a green day, I visited Snake today and asked him regarding Miss Charm's necklace. Basically, he knows where the necklace is, but he just can't get it or something. So I asked him about the necklace again, and then finally he told me that the necklace is at the old Lord Commander at the mountain fort. So the mountain fort can be found at the north of the village. We can pay it a visit once we have an agenda to go there. Aside from the necklace, so yeah. I then visited the refugee camp to see if there's anything I can help them with. So Marcus Chidoro right here asked me to build a garden and 1 more tent. So yeah, we have more mission to do here at the refugee camp. Garden update. 2 of my zombies are working on growing some carrots, but my 3rd one, I don't have enough seed to start growing some, so I gotta visit the farmer. And so as usual, I bought a couple of carrot seeds, but every day since I buy more, the amount of quantity that the farmer sells is lesser. So this time I could only buy like 15 pieces, but I think it's enough to get the other zombies started. I totally forgot to mention, but because of the interaction with Miss Charm and then Snake, everything led to me having a friendlier relationship with Snake, which then he found me the restoration tool that I needed, and now I gave it to the astrologer. We have 3 parts of the barrel. a necklace with a sapphire, a golden angle, and an endless notebook. I think this is Apple or something. Snake has an endless notebook. I believe I know where to get a necklace and a golden angle. When I was with my friend near the lighthouse, I should tell him Esmeralda is pregnant, his child. I think I'm going to have a stroke right now. I have a child. The astrologer has a child. So how the story is, basically, because we have restored the book, we now know what we need in order to craft the portal. So firstly, for the golden angle, he needs me to help them first before he can even tell me where I can get the golden angle. As for the necklace, we already know that the commander at the North Pass has it. Anyways, right now our main mission is to get to know who the child of the astrologer is, so we need to visit a certain gypsy. So basically, the brother of the astrologer's lover. Asked him regarding the Necronomicon, and he told me that the fisherman friend of his has it. Yes, that guy in the upper left side. Also, I asked regarding the vampire that the town has been having problems. So we have a lot of clues now. 1, Horadric did not recognize the guy. 2, the individual didn't hear him. So he isn't a regular villager and he has hearing problems. And obviously we have the answer. You know, the guy we always scream at because he can't hear us? And yes, that would be Master Alaric. Back to the fisherman. In order to get the Necronomicon, I only traded it for like 5 pieces of maggot that we don't actually need. I haven't gone fishing in this game for a while since I tried it out. So I'm not really sure if I should keep fishing or not. I don't really have time for that because I have so many other missions I need to do. I did buy some silver quality fish fillet though because the Gypsy Baron wanted some. And I remember that I had a quest for it. So with this, we don't need to fish. We just bought it with our gold. And so I visited the Gypsy Baron and I gave him the fish that he wanted. And by doing this, he gave me a recipe on how to make kebabs. So yeah, cool, awesome. More food recipe. I then asked him regarding Esmeralda, if she's still alive, because the astrologer wants to know where his baby is. So before he actually tells me where Esmeralda is now or any information about Esmeralda, he then told or asked me a favor of telling the Inquisitor to release one of their friends because the guards grabbed her. And since he thinks that we're friends with the Inquisitor, and I'm sure you guys also think that we're friends with him because we don't want to get burned, then sure, we can do it for him. I then went to the graveyard to increase the quality. So these are flower beds that I can only put in certain areas. So they increase the quality of the graveyard by 2. So yeah, that's pretty good. It looks pretty nice. So yeah, I had to dig up some of my lawn because it's just too long and I can't place the other flower beds. So after this, we can add the not longer version of the lawns just so that we can fit in the flower beds. For this day, I decided to raid the dungeon because yeah, why not? I wanted to go further and further, and also I'm looking for new monsters to defeat because I need a certain ingredient to craft a certain potion. So yeah, we need to dive deeper in the dungeon in order to encounter new creatures so we can have more materials. I managed to reach floor 7 before ending my dungeon delving adventure. I also did not forget to manage some of the bodies, but since some of the bodies are spoiling because I always forget them, I just decided to burn them after harvesting all the organs. Also because I needed some ash, because I needed to make a lot of those urns so we can make a stone columbrium at our graveyard to increase the quality some more. Then went to the dead horse to talk to Miss Charm regarding her necklace. I told him that Snake doesn't have his necklace anymore. I told her that I know where her necklace is and I will try to get it back to her myself. Anyways, she then gave me a quest of getting a certain perfume from Miss Charm, Horadric's wife. So okay, sure, we can talk to her about it and let's see if she would give us some. And so today is Merchant Day and I bought a couple of great seeds. I specifically or especially want the golden ones so we can start making some golden wines. I don't really know what the golden wine is for, but I remember that I had a quest that needed one, so that's why I started buying some golden grape seeds from the merchant. And since it was a day where Snake appears again, I then gave him the Necronomicon that we recently got from the fisherman, so it increased our relationship with Snake to about 50. I then told him about the endless notebook that I needed, but he said he is not giving it away unless he doesn't need it anymore. This book is the only thing I have from my childhood. We weren't allowed to have our own possessions at the orphanage. When they pulled me from the burning house, I was gripping it in my hands. This book means a lot to me. This book's pages never end. I write down everything in this notebook, and a lot of pages were already filled up when I started. I always wondered what all those notes are about. How happy were the people who wrote them? You know what? If I succeed with my ritual, the notebook will be yours. I won't need it anymore. So in order for us to get our hands on the Endless Notebook, we need to have a friendship level of Snake at 100, basically helping him out with his every need until we can get the Endless Notebook. So okay, sure, fine, how can I help with this ritual, I ask. So basically the assistance that I can provide Snake with is to make the entire place look scary. And for this, we need to have a quality of 20 demonic points. Let's just call it demonic points. I'm not really sure what to call this. So here are the couple of stuff that we can build in order to increase the quality of the Dark Church. So we'll be needing a lot of skulls. As for the other items, they're not really that hard to find. And looking at this, I would need to grow some silver shard pumpkins. For now, I needed some money, so I got started on crafting a lot of complex parts so I can make a bunch of box of goods. Also, whenever I have the opportunity, I always turn a corpse into a zombie. Day in and day out, my main focus right now was to craft more and more complex iron parts to sell. I then visited the Inquisitor because I remember he needed 10 silver wine, but oh my god, I'm actually lacking one. So I have to rush this, go to the dead horse, and then get back here before he leaves, or else we'll have to wait for the next week. Thankfully though, I made it and I gave him the wine that he needed. So as he described it, wine is the best for his soldiers so that they can get more witches. So basically they're drunk and they just pull like random people as like targets for the Inquisition. So the both of us had like this brainstorming where we need to think about how to make the burning popular again. So the Inquisitor wanted me to make a tent that would sell like gold quality burger and gold quality beer. For the gold quality burger, you know what meat we're gonna use. So I'll definitely get started on this, but I have no idea how to get some golden burgers and some golden beers. But we'll eventually figure it out. So in order to craft a gold star burger, the only factor that we need to think of is our onion. So if we have a gold star onion, our chances of making a gold star burger increases. So I'll be planting a lot of onions for now, basically the silver ones. I also started planting some pumpkins because I needed some for the decoration we're gonna do at the dungeon. Afterwards, I built some place here where I can put a zombie so they can continuously mine stones for me. I can still make like one more here, so we'll have 2 miners for stone. So here we have 2 miners now. So we'll be producing stone basically every day and our porter will deliver it to our base. So I don't need to come to the quarry anymore in order to grind stones myself. If I'm impatient though, I can always just come back here and then farm some stones. I then crafted myself a jewelry table, and with this table we can make jewelry, just as the name implies. Also, we can make stronger versions of swords so we can have more damage once we go to the dungeon. We have the damask sword with gem would be the strongest, but we don't really have the faceted diamond, so I'm not really sure when I can craft this. But the steel sword with gem is a good choice as well. So I of course made some, and wow, the process of making the jewelries actually takes so long. My grapes were then ripe, so I harvested more of them. Next is I need to figure out how to make the wine. So it's pretty simple. You just need 2 buckets of bronze, silver, or gold star. You can mix and match and the quality will increase depending on what kind of bucket you're putting on the fermentation barrel. So for example, like this, we can choose what kind of starred barrel or bucket we're gonna use. But I don't think I want to do this until I get the perk where I'm a wine master. So I've increased my chance of upgrading the quality. So I instead did not make any wine yet and continued on my day, like adding carrots on the box so the donkey keeps delivering us some corpse. I then tried out a lot of combination in order to make a gold star dinner. So everything that makes it possible to be a gold star, I can actually just buy from the dead horse. So I'm just thinking what I should buy in order to make that. So I need like 5 of these, or was it 10, to give to the merchant for a certain quest. Also, I discovered that the merchant actually buys like silver bars, and it's like a lot of money. 12 silver coins each. Well, actually, it goes lower as much as I sell him, but yeah, it's a lot of money. I then crafted more pallets at the merchant's warehouse because I needed to sell more goods because I need money. Like, I really need money so I can buy a lot of stuff. I then decided to gather a bunch of clay because gathering clay is, I believe, the fastest way to get the green orbs in the game, and I need a lot of these green orbs. With the green orbs I collected, I unlocked the zombie vineyard. So now we can automate our grapes as well. I continued harvesting clay the next day. I actually even made like a second shovel because I really needed the green orbs. I just delete like most of the clay because they're not really that useful. I mean, a stack would be useful, but you won't be needing like a couple of stacks. I made about 2 vineyards. This should be enough for now since I don't really have the fertilizer to upgrade this. So we'll need to figure out how to make the fertilizer, the quality fertilizer to be specific. Afterwards, I then went on decorating the dungeon that Snake wanted me to make horrifying. But I was lacking in a lot of skulls and I really need a lot of corpses to do this. I then made a couple more zombie juice because we really need the workforce. So I grinded some of my lettuce to obtain some health powder and I combined it with blood, and now we have more zombie juice. We can produce even more zombies. Currently, I have like 3 zombies that I have no use of at the moment, but in the future, we'll be using those for sure. I then continued planting some of my silver star onions and pumpkins because I really need to finish those quests, and this is the only way I can think of to like continue with my quest. I'm thinking I might need to raid a dungeon a couple of times in order to get like golden onion seed, but I don't really know yet. But that's the plan for now. I then started grinding for some blue orbs because I needed the perk for Wine Master. I then checked the warehouse of the merchant, and for all the goods that I have sold, I have earned like 1 gold coin and 20 silvers. I'm kinda rich now. I can just buy a bunch of food and stuff. So regarding the dinner, it seems that having like the gold star onion rings would increase my chance of making the gold dinner by a lot. So I decided to just buy some food from Haradic right here. A couple of silver star meals as well would like really combine well with this onion rings, and maybe we can craft like the golden dinner that he wants. Also, I've been producing a lot of grape juice lately, so I've been making a couple of wines at home. I then discovered that the quality fertilizer is actually made from the church workbench, and I need something called a growth enhancer and 10 pieces of the peats. The peats I have a lot of, but my problem is how to make the growth enhancer. So using the alchemy workbench, I added ash with a life solution, and the result is the growth enhancer that we need in order to make quality fertilizer. So I made a couple of growth enhancers because I really wanted to upgrade all of my zombie farms. The more you upgrade it with quality fertilizer, the more capable they are in planting seeds. So let's say we upgrade it once, they are now capable of planting like silver star seeds. I then built a couple more of the zombie grape farm. This time I already upgraded like 2 of them to be able to make or plant the silver grapes. So yeah, our grape farm is actually looking good. I should also upgrade the ones on my garden. so they can plant like the silver starred pumpkins and onions. And so I have like the perfect plan to make the ninners. So all of the things that I've listed here is available at the Ninors. So I'll just buy it and then try to craft 5 pieces of this in hopes that it will land on gold. Also, my 4 grape farms now are working. Let's go. I just want to build one more and then upgrade it to like up to gold so we can start also automating our gold grapes. If you remember the area where we found like broken beehives, I fixed it up and I saw that I can make beehives, but I am required to bring like 10 pieces of bees and I don't really have that much bees. And it doesn't really drop as much. It's like just a rare occurrence that a bee would like drop from harvesting. Also at the refugee camp, I then built myself a fence for like some gardens. So now we can make them a garden so they can grow their own food and we don't need to like monitor them or feed them each time. So I met this lady right here and she seems to be the cook for these aristocrats. And she wanted me to make a kitchen so she can cook stuff. That's honestly wonderful so I don't need to keep storing like food in their storage. They're honestly slowly being very self-sufficient and I like that, so I don't need to like help them out or anything. One of my agenda here was to talk to the Marquis and ask regarding the vampire if he knows anything about it. But he said it's impossible to have a vampire here because he knows most of the people here. Anyways, right now, Master Alaric is like one of our prime suspect as a vampire because everything matches up and he's like, yeah, 100% suspect or something. For the next few days, I mainly focus on just doing my thing like mass producing my grapes, sell a lot of goods to the merchant, craft a bunch of stuff that I can sell. So basically something that gives me money right now. Also, I bought a lot of silk because I needed this to make tents at the refugee camp. And I decided it's finally time to focus back on our quests. So I bought a couple of stuff from Horadic. I needed the food in order to make like the 5 golden star dinners. I then gave Gary the wine that he wanted. It's been so long. I know I have a lot of silver wine, but I just decided to give it to him today. Anyways, this guy wanted something even tougher than the wine I gave him. He wanted some kind of like cognac. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And he was rather disappointed because I don't think I can give him the cognac that he wanted. Anyways, I talked to him again and basically what he wanted me to do was find an old keg that he buried or the old keeper buried. And so late at night, I tried looking for some digging spots that Gary wanted me to look for. So it's these things here that look like there's a bunch of soils on top. I got some silver out of this, so yeah, that's worth a lot because silver bars are pretty expensive. And after digging for a while, I eventually found something incredible. So I told Gary that it's something metal and big, but it seems like it's a machine that the old inventor Keeper died at. So it's the Keeper's archaeological machine. And it was the guy who made the zombies, so this is the zombie creator. But as we were about to dig more, there's a guy that warned us that we can't dig here because there's like contract and stuff. And we can't bribe this guy because he said we're too poor for him. So we have no choice. We'll need to find a way to be able to dig this. So I asked Jerry about it if he had any bright ideas. And he said I could just buy the land and build a tavern. That would cover the fact that we're trying to get something down there instead. So first, we need to buy the land from Horadic, and it'll be that much, but we're not that rich. So he gave me an advice that if we buy the land under a very old and poor villager, I can get a massive discount. So we already know one crazy dude that gave us like a cake recipe. He will be our cover so he can give us a discount or something. So I talked to Dig about the land purchase, and well, this is his response. Well, we got his agreement, am I right? I then continued raiding the dungeon. I really wanted to get to like the deepest parts, also because I'm hunting like gold star onion seeds. There were these new enemies I encountered here. They're like lightning bolts, and when you stop or when they lock onto you, they will explode. Well, not really a problem. We can always outrun them before they explode. Also very happy to know that in the dungeons you can actually mine some gold. So golds are worth a lot. So this makes me happy that I can get more money. And the deeper I go inside the dungeon, more and more monsters are down here. And look at our new enemy, the black slime. It throws like 3 projectiles at you. It's like a shotgun. Anyways, fairly easy to deal with. If you get close, you just spam them with attack. I then crafted a bunch of gold jewelry because of the recent gold that we found at the dungeon. So this is gonna be worth a lot of money once we sell it like to the merchant. Another thing I found in the dungeon is a faceted diamond. It looked like a blue rock that I mined down there. Totally forgot about that. Anyways, with this, I made the most powerful sword in the game. Plus 25 attack damage. Let's go. And so I continued raiding the dungeon. I wanted to at least see the end of this before I stop. I don't really mind doing this because I have a lot of HP potions. By a lot, I mean 6. And a couple of wines. Wines also heals HP, so it's like a potion. Sadly, I can't proceed anymore because at the floor 10th to 11, there's like a gate blocking the way, so I'll need to ask Snake about it. Since Steak wasn't available today, I just decided to continue on buying the tavern. So I went and spoke with Horadic regarding Dig's cooperation with us, and he sold us the tavern for only, the land for only 30 silver instead of 9,000 gold coins. So yay, we can now have someone build the tavern for us. Also bought some food because last time I couldn't buy it because my inventory was full. So now we'll buy some food and try to make some golden dinners. I kept talking about the dinners, but I actually never made it yet. I'm too busy like doing so many miscellaneous tasks in this game, like filtering some jellies, or also like upgrading stuff and adding stuff in my, let's just call this the alchemy laboratory or something. What I want to make right now is the quality fertilizer 2, and with this we can upgrade the gray farm into something that can make or produce golden starred grapes. And so with some ashes, toxic solution, and a life extract, we can now make the flavor enhancer that we need in order to make the quality fertilizer 2. And after making the fertilizer, I immediately headed over to my zombie farm, and now I can plant some golden grapes. Let's go. I then made more because I plan to improve some of my other zombie farms as well. I want these guys to be able to plant the silver star pumpkins and the silver star onions so we can sell them in the, what do you call the thing? The one with the conveyor belt. Basically the factory where we send goods to the merchant's warehouse. Yeah, there. We'll be selling those goods there. So I then went shopping for seeds. I would plant like carrots all the time, but there is a problem with that. You can't sell the carrots on the box goods, so our only option is the silver star onions or the pumpkins. I could also plant some lentils and sell it, but I decided to just mainly focus on the pumpkins and onions. This is a really long forgotten quest, but I finally made a cookbook that the donkeys wanted, so now we can deliver this. So it's finally time to make the golden dinners. So we hope that a 63% chance RNG will be good to us. Worry not though, the prices for this food that I'm using to make the golden dinners are not really that expensive. So it's fine because I can just buy more if we don't get the 5 that we need. And after this final one, I made the 5th gold star dinner. So we have finished the merchant's quest. All we need to do is just give it to the merchant. Also, I discovered that in order to make the golden star burgers that we need in order to give to the Inquisition or the stand at the Inquisition, we'll need golden star onions really. But if we use the silver one, we have a 20% chance of making a gold one. So that's something to think about. I then gave the donkey the cookbook that he was requesting, and all I need now is to wait for their next message. So glory to the donkey people. The rat's chief can't read, but he enjoyed the pictures in your cookbook. So he ripped them out and ate them. There weren't enough apples, so the donkeys fought each other over them, but they appreciated the effort. So they said I have passed the first stage, earning the approval of the Eco PODP, and if I continue this, I will receive stolen bank checks and also jewelries. we can send the jewelries and send them the money, it says. Anyways, for our next task on the donkeys, we'll need to send them about 5 pieces of faith, as well as making an aphorism. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing this right. So, okay, cool. We have a new quest from the donkey. And since I can craft the aphorisms about the evils of money, I crafted it so I can finish the quest. I also crafted myself a Bronze Star book. I needed this in order to make a certain confessional outside the church. I then finished the quest up by giving the faith that they required. Upon checking the box, they then sent me some bank checks and jewelry. I'm not really sure where I can use the bank check, but for the jewelry, I can sell it to the merchant. I then saw the donkey delivering a corpse, but he also delivered some notes that we can read. So I wonder what they will need this time. So let's find out. The donkeys of all countries. So basically, I passed the second stage and now they want me to craft some battle gears and also make like an enchanted pumpkins for them. So yeah, we'll try to ask people around if they can do those. The blacksmith Cresvolt and Clotho. I then continued making some zombies, even though I don't really have any use for them right now. But in the future, when we really need manpower, we have a zombies on standby. I then went to the merchant and gave him the dinners that he wanted. So our relationship with the merchant is looking great. We have higher and higher relationship. And I think once it's 100%, we can get one thing for the portal we're making in the future. Anyways, for our next quest with the merchant, he wanted me to convince or talk to Miss Charm about supporting him in trying to get to the good side of the royal councilman. I then made a couple of heal potions using life powder and health solution because I wanted to dive to the dungeon again because I really needed the golden onion seeds. I know what you're saying.
Bro, you should have used the fertilizer because the fertilizer can increase the quality of the seed that you have planted.
But at this point of the game, I actually did not know that. Not at all. So this was the plan I had in mind in order to make those golden burgers. But I didn't know that the seeds are actually pretty rare from the dungeon. So at that point in time, the plan for the dungeon was pretty bad. So I decided to find or look for a way to increase my chances of getting the golden seed. So it's time to make the fertilizers. And so it was finally time to try it out. So I placed the golden fertilizer and then planted like a silver seeds. And as far as what I read online, what would happen is I will be able to yield some golden seeds because of the fertilizer. So we'll have to wait for a few days until we can get the results. I then learned this new perk called Jeweler. So now we have a higher chance of getting jewels. So yeah, this is gonna be very helpful. In our goal of becoming rich, this thing is super useful. I then continued planting more crops with the golden fertilizer in hopes to yield more golden seeds. Afterwards, I went to visit Clotho because we needed the enchanted pumpkin, and it seems she only needed like a golden star pumpkin. So we're gonna get that once our pumpkins grow because I added the quality fertilizer on it. Also, Clotho seems to have something called a speed potion that increases movement speed. So I bought everything she had. I don't really care about the price. I just wanna zoom or move really fast in the game. This will make everything easier. I actually already spoke with Cresvold regarding the battle gears that the donkey wanted. So I went there to grab them, and now we have the battle horseshoes and the unicorn horns. So we can send it to the donkeys now. I wonder how they're gonna make use of this. Afterwards, a daily trip to the farmer is something I usually do now because I needed to buy more silver star pumpkins and silver star onion seeds. And once I arrived home, I then sent over the weapons to the donkeys. Also continued on extracting everything that a corpse has because my plan for the corpses right now are just to burn them so I can get ashes. Also because I needed a lot of skulls to decorate the dungeon. So my next plan of action now was to make a couple of polishing paste so that we can start making the blood fountain decoration at the dungeon. I also crafted some polished stone as it was needed as well for the dungeon. With enough materials, I was finally able to make the blood fountain, but it seems I needed two. So yeah, that makes sense. Symmetry, right? And so I made the materials again so we can craft the second blood fountain. Back to our quest, we needed some perfume for Miss Charm, and to get the perfume, we'll need to talk to Miss Chain. But before she gives us the perfume, she gave us a quest first to bring lunch to her sister at the swamp, basically Clotho. Also, she asked for 12 pieces of frogs. And so I went to the swamp and gave Clotho the food. Also, I will be buying frogs every day from Clotho until we get like 12 pieces of this. She only restocks like 10 a day, so we have to wait for the next day. And we'll need to wait a week again to interact with Miss Charm to give her the perfume. And the next day, I bought the last 2 frog I needed. And all I need to do now is wait for Miss Charm to appear again, which is next week. I swear to God, because there's only specific days that the NPC visits, we're always like held off for a week before we can continue our quest. Because we needed skulls for the decoration of the dungeon, I continued extracting them from the corpses, even if it means adding sin. So, yeah, this quality of this corpse right here will be pretty bad, but still, we'll get like a total of 5. And for some reason, lightning like struck my graveyard and like it broke some of the graveyard. I'm not sure what's up with this guy, and he's saying that it's my fault that the people I added to the graveyard is bad because they have sin. So maybe I'll really need to learn like embalming techniques so we can remove all their sins. Anyways, I told this guy that we're still friends even if he did that in something. But yeah, in the future, let's try removing all the sins from the dead bodies that we bring to the graveyard, because that guy will be upset. Now that we have golden onions, we can finally make the golden quality burger. Let's go! We can finish our quest with the Inquisition and have a better relationship with the Inquisitor, meaning he will not burn us, probably. I also harvested a golden pumpkin because everything that I planted from the quality fertilizer has now fully bloomed. I then asked Clotho to enchant the pumpkin so we can give it to the donkeys. Aside from that, she wanted to charge me like 50 silver in order to enchant this pumpkin, and oh my god, it's pretty expensive. But worry not, we have a gold coin in our pocket, so this 50 silver is pretty okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if I showed you already, but this is what the potion speed looks like. We're zooming. So I'm going to the Witch Hill so I can prepare the stand, like put the burger. But I don't really have any beers right now, so we can't really finish this. But at the very least, the burgers are ready. And as I tried to look around the Witch Hill, I was stopped by the guards right here. So for some reason, this place is now guarded because the Inquisitor thinks that there's a cultist lurking around here. So for the beer that we needed for the Inquisitor's quest, I need to buy it from the miller. So I need to either buy some flour from him or sell him some flour in order to unlock the next tier of things that we can do at his shop. So I just bought it, and then look, we can unlock tier 2 by tomorrow. I then sold a couple of crops that I have made so far. I have a lot of pumpkins and onion silver star for sale. I haven't really updated my graveyard, but currently we're at a quality of 150 plus. So we're close to like the 200 quality we need in order for the bishop to approve of this. So after submitting all my quest items to the donkey, I receive a new letter from them. So they require me to get them more items like black and white paint. I need to make a jelly of incredible power as well, and a revolution banner. So okay, we're gonna make this for our donkey friends. The black paint is pretty easy. We already made one using graphite powder. And as for the white paint, it's water and this thunder looking dust. And now we have the white paint. And after crafting those two, I then went straight ahead to the miller so I can start buying hops. But instead, I would sell the flour that I bought yesterday because I really need to unlock tier 3 so he can sell me like silver and gold quality hops because I need the gold quality beer for the Inquisitor. So the best way I can unlock tier 3 was just to buy every goods that this miller had and sell them again. And that way, I can increase this tier. So now, by tomorrow, we can buy golden and silver quality hops. So the jelly of incredible power that the donkeys want is pretty easy to make. It's just some jelly and then wheat flour. I then submitted both the paint and the jelly of incredible power. Only thing I need left is the banner. The banner was fairly easy to make, just some white paint and then silk. Because of the recent golden fertilizer or quality fertilizer 2 that we have been using, we have no shortage of a gold star, onion, and pumpkins now. So I can start mass producing them because honestly, it's such a pain to like harvest them myself. It's time to make more zombie farms. And as I made my way to my graveyard, I saw the donkey here. So he wanted to inform me that the revolution was over and they are triumphant. So their master exploiter is captured, the noble horses have been exiled to distant pastures, and the interim government chosen among the most trustworthy donkeys and rats have commenced socialist reforms. Honestly, I'm not really good with words like that, so I don't really understand what the donkey has just said. Anyways, I'm happy that their revolution is working out well for them. And he gave me something called an ice axe. So this thing is a way better pickaxe than the current one I have. It has like 200% efficiency, while the best pickaxe that I could craft only had like 150%. So yeah, I very much appreciate the donkeys right now because of this wonderful pickaxe. Anyways, now that I had some silver star and gold star hops, it's time to plant them. I can't right now because I only have 3 pieces of the seed each, so I just decided to craft the bronze one. So for tomorrow, I will visit the miller again and buy another set of the silver and golden hops. So now it's finally the day where we could talk to Miss Charm. I then gave her the perfume I got from Miss Chain. And since our relationship with her increased to 40, we can now ask regarding the marketing. But she doesn't want to do it for free, so she's asking me if I can make her some jewelry. And as far as I remember, the donkeys did give me like a piece of jewelry, so I can use that to give to Miss Charm. And after getting the jewelry from home, I then gave it to Miss Charm right here. And with this, Miss Charm now agreed to promote our marketing. So let's go. The other thing that Miss Charm wanted was a golden story, and I have a lot of those on my shelf. And by a lot, I just mean 2, but yeah, hey, we have a golden story that we can give to Miss Charm. I'm just waiting for my teleport stone now. Sadly, I was too late. Miss Charm was already gone, so now we have to wait another week before we can talk to her again. I then went to the merchant and told him about the good news that Miss Charm will now support us. Let's go. Also, I should have enough hops right now to start making my hops garden farm so we can start making some beer. I then made myself the zombie brewery. At the very least, it's not going to be us that will be making the beers, but our zombie friends. So fairly easy, we just need some water, some wheat, and hops. I don't really grow wheat, so we're gonna have to grow some wheat starting today. And so I crafted myself another zombie farm so it can make wheat for us because we need it for our beer. As I was heading out and about to place my new zombie, I then talked to the donkey. I then talk randomly about whatever they want from me next. So I'm not really sure. There's this like fantasy thing that the donkey wants from us. Thing with a sword. The thing is, we failed, my dear comrade. I've never seen this so pressed. He's about to cry. What happened? The rat seized power in our post office and declared a military dictatorship. And now the donkey situation is even worse than it was before the revolution. So what are you going to do? One thing I'm really good at, bringing you corpses and eating carrots. Maybe it's not as bad as you think. This donkey is sad. Oh my god. No. I'm really sad for the donkey, but... well, he might have a better days ahead of him. So... We'll find out. Anyways, our relationship with the dog is already at 100%, so we don't really have any more requests from him. I then got started working on my zombie wheat farm, so now we won't have a problem of getting beers in the future. Also tried mass producing our golden hops so we can make more golden beers. I then made myself the embalming table. I was thinking that maybe this is where I can craft the stuff that I can use to embalm the bodies, but it seems this is just a table where you can embalm the bodies. So I'm pretty dumb. But anyways, the place where you can craft the embalming solutions is actually the church workbench. Also, look at these new gravestones that I crafted. It looks pretty cool, like death statues or something. And the quality of my church now is around 209. I totally forgot what the bishop needed, if it was 200 or 250. And so I spoke to the bishop, and it seems I already reached the amount that he wanted. We have reached 200 quality in our graveyard. So the only thing left now in order to upgrade our church into a cathedral was craft like 3 statues. So using the highest quality chisel that I have, I tried to make 3 golden statues. And I was pretty lucky because the first one was gold. The second one as well. And the last one. It seems we don't need to wait a week to deliver this to the bishop. I made it on time and I can deliver it now. So after I gave it to the bishop, he wanted to place one of them at the graveyard. And oh my god, look! It's magnificent. Since our relationship with the bishop increased to 70, I then asked him if we can upgrade our church to the cathedral, and now it was upgraded. So if you notice the change, the church actually became bigger. So let's go. And for our next task with the bishop, we'll need to buy an aristocrat papers. So the aristocrat papers are actually pretty expensive, but worry not, we have some money with us. It's like 12 gold. Never mind. So we're gonna have to save up a lot of money in order to finish this quest. So I guess I'm back to making my produce and complex iron parts to sell. And on my way to the morgue, Gary said something really nice to us. He likes us and I'm his only friend. But his wishes are kind of bad. What, Gary? Really? I guess this dude is just lonely and just wants another skullhead friend to accompany him. Man, I need to go home. Sorry, Gary. Continuing with our various quests, I then gave Miss Charm the golden story that she wanted. She was happy with the story, but now she had another favor for us. So the local farmer has a daughter named Alyssa and she wanted her to accompany her, but I need the permission from her father first, the farmer. And so in a rush, I went to the farmer. I wanted to finish everything before Miss Charm disappears again because we'll need to wait another week to continue with our quest. Anyways, her father doesn't support her being an actress because they need her in the farm. But the other son spoke with me and he asked if I wanted to help Alyssa. He said that if I would help in the farm, that maybe the father would reconsider. So I'll need to help fix the mill that its uncle has, basically the miller. So we'll talk to the miller and see how things goes after that. Afterwards, I went to the dungeon to continue my decoration. So for the blood fountain, I added like 10 pieces of blood and now it has a fountain of blood. Awesome. So we just need one more blood fountain and another 10 pieces of blood and we will have a quality of 20 on our dungeon. And so I hammered down on some complex iron parts because we really need money as well for the 12 gold we need in order to become an aristocrat. Also, our zombies are making this happen by growing the crops that we can sell. I then made myself a zombie winery. You can see it at the upper left part. Also, a distillery table. With this, we can now make booze using our wine. I'm not really sure who needs booze or who will drink the booze, but at least we can make some booze. I then went to the Witch Hill because I now had the beers that the Inquisition needs for their party or burning festival or something. And afterwards, I visited the merchant and talked to him regarding the recent quest we have completed. He was pretty happy that everything was going well, and he said that the position would be his in no time. So now he had another quest for us. Basically, he wanted us to help him attend a big ceremony. Also, since the week has passed, my box had earned some gold. I got only like 53 silver. I did not sell a lot of stuff. I also sold a couple of my golden wines to the merchant. I just really need a lot of gold right now, specifically 12 gold. I then made some new zombie farms at my vineyard. This time I will be planting the silver and the gold quality hops. I then went to the miller to check out how I can fix the broken mill, but I need something called a paper with calculations, and the only guy we know that can do calculations in this game is the astrologer. So basically, tomorrow is a blue day, we can pay him a visit. I then went to the astrologer and asked regarding the calculation papers that we need in order to fix the mill. But sadly, I can't really proceed with this quest unless I have a friendly relationship of the astrologer up to like 60. And because we needed like 12 gold coins in order to become an aristocrat, I started selling a lot of random things in hopes that I can eventually reach the 12 gold that I need. I then went to the refugee camp and built them another tent. So as you can see, I'm slowly improving the quality of life of the people that lives here. I then spoke with Mr. Marquis Judoro right here, and he gave me more quests like building an automatic well, and also let's not forget about the kitchen that the cook wants us to make. I then tried mining this coal vein, hoping that it would give me diamonds because I really don't have any idea where I can find gold, diamond, or silver aside from extracting it from big iron blocks. But I gave up after a while because it didn't give me any iron, gold, or diamond. So I went to the side where I can mine some iron ores. I really just need more money right now. 12 gold coins. 12. So hard work will lead us to that 12 gold coins. I am making a lot of these complex iron parts since I have a lot of iron right now. And these things probably sell for a lot using the box goods that we sell to the merchant's warehouse. I then sold a couple of the gold jewelry that I have made to the merchant. These things sell for a lot, but not much that it would fund us for our 12 gold coins. Slowly though, we'll eventually get there. Today was Snake Day and I just needed one more blood in order to finish the blood fountain. So the moment I extracted blood from a corpse, I rushed towards where Snake is. But it's already very late because the donkeys delivered the dead bodies in a kinda late way. And yes, Snake already left. Before I even finish the pool, I have to wait till next week again to complete this quest. I hate it. I then went to Clotho because I wanted to buy more speed potions because I was running out. And also, this is worth every penny that I have because I really love the speed buff. I move so fast in the game. Makes everything easier in a way. Anyways, it was Inquisition Day, so it's finally time to finish our quest with the Inquisitor. I also asked him regarding the portal guards, if it's really necessary. He said that heretics were spotted here, so I told him that I can watch the Witch Hill for him. It should be fine, or better than the guards, because if the guards were here, they wouldn't come to the Witch Hill. So if it was me, I can report to him. Anyways, back to the tent. You'll probably earn a lot of money. Yes, Monsieur. You know, at first I thought you were kind of shady, like you might be a problem. I had a strange feeling that you didn't belong here. But now it seems like you blended in just fine. You do what you've been asked to do. And profit means everything to you. I believe there's a place for a person like you in our future world. In the world we're going to build in the town, the world of pure faith. One day. The audience is gathering. Do your part well and I will do mine. Okay. So now what? So Everything is ready for that. I can prove that I'm loyal. I'm sure I can show you that I can be trusted well enough to look after which. I have so much quest for this guy. Indeed, perhaps one day I will embrace you as an Inquisitor Apprentice. Meanwhile, I'll wait for your reports. Alright, cool. So, about the ceremony at my cathedral. Could you attend a big ceremony at my new cathedral? Together with Bishop, we'll pray for water to return to the town. Nice. I have no time for such nonsense, but we need someone important to attend. Try to find someone from the royal court. Can I ask you? It is not in my rules to release someone, but this time I'll make an exception. Her friends have been making too much of a ruckus outside my headquarters. Nice, now we can talk to the Gypsy Baron. Alright, now it's for the burning. No one really cares. They're enjoying the beer and, the human burger and the beer. Beer washes away all sins. Juicy burgers, sweet as holy ecstasy. For real. This is the best burning I've ever been to. So it seems everyone liked my burgers and my beers. No one really cares about the burning, but as long as it makes the Inquisitor happy, we're good. The town will be talking for a month about today's burning. Whenever you're ready, we should put on a repeat performance. Just get your tent ready and we'll be in business. Wow. Okay, I need to repeat this, I guess. I then checked out the area with the portal, and there's the 6 items that we need in order to go home. And I have none of them yet. I then reported to the Gypsy Baron that their friend is free. And afterwards, I asked about where his sister was. But she had a child, didn't she? She has a daughter. When she was a blessing to me, but now she's my shame. So she's alive? She's alive, but she betrayed her own people. She even betrayed the memory of her mother. She sold her mother's last gift, disowned her legacy, and for what? For lust. For impertinence. In the town, she's known as Miss Charm. Oh my god, so the daughter is Miss Charm. We haven't spoken with her real name for many years. Okay, so we need to report this to the astrologer. And good thing, it's tomorrow. Nice, we don't have to wait for next week. I then built them a couple of garden beds. So this way, they can now grow their own crops as well. Wow, the refugee is definitely improving. I then went to the lighthouse to report to the astrologer regarding his child. So Esmeralda died many years ago, but her daughter is alive and well. And I think you might even have heard about her, and her name is Miss Charm. Unbelievable, she's very talented. I saw her perform once. I'm afraid she'll never accept me. I left her mother before she was born, but I didn't know. I knew that it would break Esmeralda's heart, but it was all in the name of science. What a fool I am. Young man, you must test these waters for me. Speak with her, find out what my chances are. Okay, so we need to wait for the day that we can talk to Miss Charm. So do you promise me to tell where the golden angle is if I reunite you with your daughter? Definitely. Alright, so we just need 10 more happiness with astrologer, then we can have so many stuff. Anyway, since I had some extra carrots on hand, I decided to plant it at the refugee. And I really like how fast it's progressing. I can see the red bar actually going very fast. So because of this, I don't think we need to worry anymore about giving these refugees some food. They can also harvest their own berries and mushrooms. So this is a really good improvement. But I still give them like some wine from time to time as it gives like a lot of energy. The next thing I wanted to sell were a box of good containing polished stones. Hopefully this thing also gives me more money. But I think if it's a box good, anything inside has the same price. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I noticed that on the warehouse. Anyway, since it was a day where we can visit Miss Charm, I then told her about her father. To me, it seems like you're the only one who talks to me like I'm a person. I feel so lonely, alone in a crowd of admirers. It's my curse. My mother died. I messed up my relationships with my relatives. All my life I've been looking for a charming prince, but I'm cursed. It's not a joke. My mother told me that her necklace would help me find love, and I sold it. I may know who your father is. My father is a dishonorable, deceitful man. He left my mom and she never got over it. He did nothing good for me. I don't care who he is. Alright, so we gotta bring the sad news to the astrologer. I mean, if I was on her place, I'd do the same. Just look at all the box of goods that I have prepared so far. And last week, I got like 1 gold from everything that I sold. So I'm hoping that I can get more from all of those boxes that are ready already. I then sold a couple of my golden wines to the merchant as, yeah, we're almost at 12 gold. Look at my money right now. We're at 9 gold. Just 3 more to go and we can purchase the aristocrat papers. And since the Inquisitor declined, I invited the merchant instead. Together with Bishop, we'll pray for the water to return to the town. Is Bishop the cheeky one? I guess so, the cheeky one. Yeah, the ceremony will be a great way to show everyone my new position. So you agree? I don't know, the bishop is my brother. We haven't spoken in They were brothers? He thinks I've been wasting my time traveling instead of making a career here in the town. Maybe it's time for you to make peace. You're right. Okay, I'll come. Alright, so we have someone who will go to the church now. So that's great. So tomorrow, we can speak with Snake. So our quests are slowly piling up. Now it's a scary place. Let's see what happens in this ritual. Especially the pumpkin heads. What a sick mind you have. Got the place. Check. Now I just need some devoted followers. Oh, and also need a Damascus sword. You'll see. Just forge me one or buy one at the mountain fort. Wait, mountain fort? I can buy stuff at the mountain fort? This stuff I'm looking for. It's very easy. I actually didn't search for them. Just spent an evening in the town pub. Everything was in the rumors. The Mirror of Pride, everyone knows that the bishop carries it. Oh, so you really gotta make the bishop happy. People say the mirror helps him talk to his boss. Eternal Burning Coal, the Inquisitor's guard, told me that his master's most precious artifact. Damn. He carries it around with him in his pockets. It's burning him all the time. That's why he's always so angry. A salty fork. Your friend the merchant has one of those. It's weird. We normally just use spoons in the town in our hands. Apparently it helps him eat a lot. I hate politeness. Alright, so sure. Let's give him our sword. That's a nice sword. Is your timing's perfect? Just kidding. Been a while. Funny. And yes, I'm aware you have the sword. Wait, who's this? These are my followers. They have gathered here to behold my power. Is that real blood? This place looks scary. I'm not sure this was a good idea. Yeah, I think you might be right. Is he planning to kill me or something? So I need to kill you with this sword, and then you shall return to life once more. I was right. Why? Wow, how'd Snake do it? He must be so powerful. We should worship him. I disagree. Behold my power over life and death. They are merely words to me. Follow me and be immortal. Wait. He actually killed me. This dude. And that's why they lied you. But I will never lie you. After the dark ritual, our glorious conquest will commence. There he is. He's alive. He's immortal. Behold my first disciple. Now go back home and wait for my orders. My life will never be the same. Damn, he used me. I really like the way you did the whole death scene. It was so dramatic. Are we done here? Sure, just need a little time for the final preparations. But I'm your man. God dang it. Wait, so I gotta wait next week again? Sure. Where's my sword though? Is he keeping it? Oh, hell no. What the heck is... Do you really need to say every time how refreshed you are? What are you doing here? You got a big problem. A well-known vampire hunter is headed for your graveyard, and he's going to kill me, and he'll probably burn down your church too. Why is a vampire hunter after you? It seems I got carried away showing off all my powers over life and death. And one of my cultists turned out to be a dumb and chatty. Okay, someone that whistle-blowed on him. It's hard to find good help these days. What are we going to do? We need to set a trap near Witch Hill on the road to the graveyard. We'll make it look like an accident.
Okay.
I already set up a distraction for him at the town brothel. So we have a little time, but not much. I'll be waiting for you in the Witch Hill, right up the road. And so I went to the Witch Hill where Snake was waiting. And he asked if I brought a wooden plank. And I didn't. So I needed to go home and get one. And after grabbing one, I returned to Snake and gave it to him. So now we wait here until something happens. It's ready. Your lucky is not here yet. Let's just wait. Okay, we waited for like days. Bro. Are you sure that he's coming? No humans can spend this much time in a brothel. Maybe he's not. Are we not going hungry for waiting? I'm really tired. I need to eat something. Everything is at stake. Just keep calm. Has it been a week? He's coming. Get ready. We only get one chance at this. Push. What? So we killed the vampire hunter. It was that easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Great hunter. Ha! Undefeated warrior. Ha! How nice of him to bring his medallion. Now we can get into the deepest part of the dungeon. What's next? Get rid of the body and clear the path. Meet me near the dungeon entrance. I have a final task for you. Alright, cool. Since it was the day that the Inquisitor is at the Witch Hill, I then asked him regarding the eternal burning coal. I heard you're from one of your guardsmen that you might have an eternal burning coal. I need to reunite it with my family. I had a family, but they were all burned. My wife and my son burned alive in my house. My house was lit on a fire by the great blast, and my son was so young he even couldn't find his remains. But I found this coal among the ashes, and it's been burning ever since, fueling my anger. I'm sure the explosion was caused by a witch, coven, or cultist. I founded the Inquisition to avenge all evil. I can't give it to you until I burn them all. Maybe one day with you help, but not before. So just like the other NPCs, we need to have a relationship of 100 friendship with them to get the item needed in order to make the portal work. And while I was here, I had my stall again with human burgers and golden beers. For more money, fate, and also, well, it doesn't really increase the Inquisitor's friendliness with us anymore. But still, we get some money here. And then visited the astrologer and told him regarding Miss Charm. Well, I told her I might know who her father is. Let's say she wasn't excited. She told me that you never tried to find her. You left her mother. So maybe I can somehow earn her forgiveness. If I found out anything, you'll be the first person to know. Thank you, kind young man. Yes, finally we have the calculation. Then we can ask about the 3 barrels. So one of the parts of the 3 barrels was the necklace that Miss Charm was looking for. Another was a golden angle that was at the camp of this mountain fort, which we can't really go inside. And as for the third one, it's the burning coal that we already know. Also, I finally had enough to buy my aristocrat papers. So now I'm an aristocrat. Awesome. I then reported to the bishop that I have my aristocrat papers, as well as the merchant will be attending this big ceremony. I then asked him regarding a certain mirror called the Mirror of Pride. I need it, in fact. My whole life depends on it. Oh, my precious mirror, how many speeches have I rehearsed as I looked into it? But mirror helped me understand how important appearances are to your career. I'm glorious because of this mirror. I've had it since my childhood. From rags to riches, this mirror gave me the confidence to accomplish all my dreams. Maybe at this point of my greatness, I don't even need it anymore. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll give it to you once I don't need any more proof. Alright, so begin the ceremony. The keeper of the king's kitchen accepted the invitation. Great, then let's begin the ceremony. First, let us await our important guests. The brothers meet again. Hello, brother. I'm here for the ceremony as the new keeper of the king's kitchen. I'm just happy for you. Alright, that's nice. We should start, Your Holiness. Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm talking about my brother. Only now do I see how much I've missed him. That's cute. Dear flock, we are here to pray for water for the town. Yes, also to pray for our families. Only family can help us survive this cruel world, even the most deadly drought. So let's forget your old fights and forgive each other. And pray for water. Yeah, sure, and pray for water. He doesn't even care about the water. What a good speech. Yeah, thank you. I need to apologize to my mom. It's gonna be coming down in buckets. Brother, yes, brother. Okay. So we helped the two brothers and we got an achievement for it. Let's go. I'm so happy for you. I'm the one who's happy. I'm so happy. Look what we've achieved. Our parents would be so proud. Okay guys, I should probably leave you alone. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're truly a great help. Do you still need my mirror? Yes. Very well, take it. You can take my fork as well. Yes! 2 of the items we needed. Let's go. And with the calculation that astrologer gave us, we can now fix the mill. And with this, we can maybe convince the farmer's founder to have Alyssa join Miss Charm. I then told the farmer that I have fixed the mill, and now I'm able to convince him to have Alyssa join Miss Charm. So I rush immediately to the dead horse so that I can report to Miss Charm before she goes away, because waiting a week is a pain in the butt. And after giving her the paper for Alyssa, she is now asking for some aristocrat papers, and thankfully I have one. But sadly, it's in my base, so I have to rush home, then rush back here, hoping she doesn't go away yet. So I teleported home and then zoomed towards the dead horse using my speed potion. It's still pretty early, so I doubt Miss Charm would be leaving anytime soon. So at least we finish this quest now rather than waiting. And after showing her my aristocrat papers, she now is requesting for a good song. And I just know the right guy to make this. So this guy right here, he writes stories. So I told him that Miss Charm is looking for a good song, a good love song specifically. But before this guy can write that lovely song, he needs something to fuel his imagination. So he's asking me for some infusion. So we'll need to make this kind of alcohol at home. So to make the infusion, we need 1 booze and red mushrooms. Good thing I already have the booze. The only thing we need now are the mushrooms. So I grab a couple just laying down in the swamp. This should work. And made the infusion. But I don't think we can finish this quest for this week. We'll have to wait for the next week. I then gave him the infusion that he wanted, but he said to come back later so he can focus. So yeah, I was right. We wouldn't be able to submit it to Miss Charm today. I tried leaving and coming inside back to the dead horse, but it did not work. With nothing else to do at the dead horse, I then went to the refugee and crafted myself a cooking table. This way the cook will be happy and she can start cooking for the refugees. I also visited Master Alaric and asked about the vampires. Alaric, the nearby village is greatly alarmed at the thoughts of vampire. What did you say? Master Alaric! Not village, the closest village. They are concerned. Okay, the villagers are enraged over vampires. Vampires. Yes, vampires. Vampires, don't talk rubbish. I'd rather believe in the fluffy yellow rabbit that calls down the lightning. Vampires. Is he talking about Pikachu? So you doubt vampires exist, but the villagers saw them, witnessed victims. I don't merely doubt they exist, they're absolutely sure of it. The joke is on you, my poor boy, isn't it obvious? Please don't bother me anymore over such nonsense. So he's so confident, so easy to believe him, but he forgot to cover the green sore in his wrist. Astrologer said that a sign of a vampire on a bad diet. I'll stake out the tent at night, keep an eye. And so I waited outside the tent, and to my surprise, he turned into a bat. So he was the vampire. It's incredible. It's like classic horror movie. I should hurry to the village and stop him somehow. By the way, I wonder where he's hid his sleeping coffin. Should I go inside? You shall not pass, foul creature. Defend yourself. I'm talking to you. Have some respect. You'll have to speak louder. He's deaf. The world has gone crazy. Deaf vampires? Garlic munching vampires? What's next? Stop, you monster, and fight. There's no point, young man. Your wife's blood doesn't suit me. And as for you, you really don't seem tasty enough. You will die a long and torturous death for this insult, you bastard. Defend yourself. I admire your What? What is this guy doing here? He just turned back. What? He's not alone. We'll both stop you, vampire. Hey guys, there's no need to kill each other. Let's talk first. Keeper, this is not your business. I ask you not to bother me. Now face the consequence. What? What the hell? I can't see. Even if you escape, I know where to find you and sleep well. Where am I? Did I die? Is this heaven? Heaven? No, more like the opposite. This is my tent and you're alive. You. I remember. You're a vile vampire. Wait a second. Why didn't you kill me? And hey, you can hear me. What the hell's going on? While you were unconscious, I borrowed a part of your hearing. What? Don't worry, as you can tell, your own hearing has already regenerated. But why did you suggest I might have killed you? Because of everything. You're a monster, and I know your secret, and I'm no monster. I'm not so foolish as to kill. That would ruin everything. I had planned to do something rather naughty with you, I admit, but I have since changed my mind. You managed to track me, so you're more capable than I imagined, and you might even be useful. I'll leave you alone for a while, calm your emotions, and shed your ridiculous delusions of heroism. What? Time's up. Now listen to my words and make your choice. The ancient curse, it has returned, and I must stop it before it's too late. This is my duty as written in the ancient contract. Shall I fail, 1,000 bloodthirsty zombies will flood the town, the village, and even your graveyard. But the problem is already too advanced. I can't deal with it all on my own. I need your help, Keeper. I see. You're welcome to ask any questions, but remember, we're already running short of time. So, what? What did you do to the shepherd? Absolutely nothing. A little bump on the head. It was completely harmless. I suppose it might even do him some good. Anyways, he's at home and his wife's looking after him. You've been a vampire since you were born? No, I was contaminated over 30 years ago. Some vampires kidnapped me but put me in a cage, tortured me, and this to me. I hate my curse more than anything, but there's no cure for it. I drink blood only in the most desperate situations to avoid a terrible death. So why did you attack the villagers? I didn't want to, but I'm nearly dying of hunger. If I tried to attack anyone at the camp, Chidoro would easily find me out. I remember a movie, there was a guy who drank rat blood and heat. I do not fear death, but I cannot leave this world without fulfilling my duty. So, what is the ancient curse? It was laid upon us 2 centuries ago when disciples of the new faith destroyed the ancient bridge. Departed souls could no longer find a way to the land of the dead. They grew mad in despair, returned to their bodies, and began killing everyone. The walking dead flooded the world. Only the ancient god and the ancient contract saved humankind from annihilation. It contains a list of dictates which staves off the ancient curse. It was agreed to by the representatives of the new and old faith and the ancient god. My brothers and I, as signatories, were obliged to follow it faithfully and execute all its conditions. We did so for nearly 170 years, but as you can see, we failed eventually. I always considered it strange that graveyard keepers were informed of all these stuff. In the end, you're just the guarantors of the contract. Why won't your brothers help with the curse? This is not the time or place to discuss them, perhaps one day. But for now, we know this. We can rely only on ourselves. Because the structures of the ancient contract we were violated too many times. The Inquisitor's cruelty, the cult's brutality, the ship of the dead stuck in the harbor. And most importantly, we haven't had a graveyard keeper for the past 30 years. Your predecessor was killed before you. The next chosen keeper were even born. There must always be a graveyard keeper. They are the guarantors of the contract. That's why I asked when we first met about the role you play. And how can we stop the ancient curse? The curse began to return after the Great Blast, and according to the information I have, the Fort Keeper, your predecessor, has been killed in the Great Blast. Oh, so we must unmask the murderer of the Fort Keeper. Only the person who triggered the curse can stop its spread. Well, looks like I'll be playing Sherlock Holmes a bit more, so there's nobody else who can help with this curse? Nobody. The other signatories are bound by a seal of silence. Except for me and my brothers, but it's useless to count on them. I agree to help. I know it's not an easy decision, but it's the right one. Let's see. For starters, take these scrolls. They'll help you save a lot of time. I can travel. And we should... Oh, he's dead. What happened to you? No, never him. If he learns that I'm a vampire, he'll pierce my heart with a wooden stake with the greatest of pleasure. Blood. Just a drop of blood, please. Blood will light up corpse of blood to see, but we're out of options. Okay, so we gotta get him some blood. A bucket of blood and a blood. And so I went home to grab a pile of corpse that I haven't processed yet, so I can extract the blood, and I will return to Master Alaric. There, that's a bit better, but the taste is amazingly foul. What was it? Corpse blood, or were you counting on me to ask some villagers to volunteer his blood? Not again. Hello, diarrhea, but you're right. Thank you in spite of it all. If you wish, I can bring you some regularly so you can stop bothering the villagers. It's a deal. Paying you for the service would be the honest thing, wouldn't it? Okay, I have something for you right now. It's my old vampire sunscreen. You can show it to them as evidence of the vampire demise. Then the villagers will stop worrying and you'll get your reward. Thank you, may I ask, why did you say to Joe would be glad to kill you? Because it's true, but that is one of the burdens that cannot be shared. Yes, you must find the vampires who captured and tortured me 30 years ago. I remember they asked me about the ancient contract and the ancient curse. I'm sure there's some connected to the curse and the Great Blast. I don't know, they sort of disappeared after the Great Blast. Alright, so many things to do. Asar told me that he and the Fort Keeper were attacked by vampires. Some strange magic turned their attacks to vampire jaws. Maybe it's possible to find these jaws and disenchant them. I've heard about this place. Okay, so now we're on the look for vampire jaws. And also, because Master Alaric gave us something, we can give it to Horadic as proof that the vampire is gone. So Master Alaric then told us to borrow something called a Witcher's Eye from Chudoro that will enable us to interact with some strange things in this game. And as I slept, someone was waiting for me outside my bed. Like, what? Who is this? So this person was another Inquisitor, and I did not expect a visit like this. It's unusual to hear such word from... Oh, it's an Inquisitor! See for yourself, my dear. Not all female Inquisitors are lonely, bitter, ugly old hens. Her voice is hypnotic, and her eye, I feel naked. It's awful. May I know your name and the purpose of your visit? I adore direct men, Lady Beatrice. I'm looking for someone. Someone who... What's that disgusting smell? Is that the corpses? Does she smell my human burgers? Please stop doing that. It smells unbearable. It is a revolutionary, unique freshener. Really, you prefer the smell of corpses? Definitely, at least it doesn't make my eyes water. How disappointing. I had hope on a more arousing encounter. Perhaps next time. Sorry, you didn't say who you are looking for. Heretics. Sentenced to the holy fire. They escaped from the prison and fled down. With the help of an old Inquisitor who betrayed his faith and his god. I'd love to help, but I don't know anything about it. Don't worry, my dear, you've already helped. Either she can read minds, or maybe she sprayed perfume so she can track me later on. I then went to the dungeon hoping to enter the deeper floors, but I totally forgot about the token to open this gate. Also, I think I need to speak with Snake first. I keep forgetting to set the planting of seeds and crops into automatic here, so I kept going back to the refugee. But anyways, I will figure that out eventually. Then went to the Dead Horse to visit the writer. But he gave me a letter that he's somehow growing hairs randomly and he wanted me to meet him at night near the cliff at the mountain fort. Next thing I did was gave Horadik the vampire sunscreen or the leftovers. And he was pretty happy and convinced that we have, vanquished the vampire. And we have helped them enormously. All our village is grateful to you, our hero. What you have done here today will not be forgotten. My reward. Oh, sorry, I entirely forgot. I must warn you that the economic situation in our village is not the best. The town's duties have increased and the harvest hasn't been good to us these past few years. Here it is. It's a sad day. It gave me like 50 silver. Let's go. It's a sad day when the heroes can't share compassion. What compassion? I just want the money. I totally forgot regarding the tavern. So now I spoke with this guy and he will be the guy responsible for making the tavern for us. So his name is Corey and currently he is, I guess, busy with other work. So I will help him gather some material so he can finish that said work and then he can work on my tavern. I then went to the Inquisitor and asked about Lady Beatrice. So that was the Inquisitor that visited us earlier. In recent years, the other counselors are crazy about her. They say she's our pride, the future of the Inquisition. Sounds like you don't like her. The girl looks and smiles, don't work on me. I see the truth. I'm sure your wisdom never ceases to amaze me. So what is the truth? This is monstrous. I know, but I'm afraid her fate isn't as firm and fanatic as it ought to be, as it must be. What's a change now? That's a long story. Okay, now we have a quest. We can increase our... What? That all? I was honestly hoping for a quest from the Inquisitor so we can increase our relationship with him, but it seems we need to trigger other quests in order to increase his relationship with us further. So right now, the only thing I'm really looking forward to is just to finish my quest. So I'm just waiting here at the cliff near the mountain fort in order to visit the writer so he can give me the song that Miss Charm wanted. So in order to actually trigger this quest, I had to walk from my house towards this area right here at night, or else it wouldn't trigger. So now that we're here, we can now find where Wagner is. So because of the... I forgot what the drink was called, the infused drink. Anyways, he turned into a monster or something. Anyways, not long after this conversation, Wagner gave me the story first before he got captured. I mean, the song. So anyways, we should really find a way to save this guy after he's captured. We will report this all to Miss Charm and see what we can do from here. He is being dragged to the mountain fort. He actually looks like a minotaur now. He has horns and stuff. I then went back to the refugee camp and gave Master Alaric a bucket of blood. It did not really increase my relationship with him, but I did supply him with blood. But I guess it's not enough. Or it was a useless donation because he only gave me like a teleportation scroll. Anyways, I asked Master Alaric regarding Beatrice. It seems they're even crazier than I imagined. What do you mean? What do you know about her? Ever since she appeared several years ago, strange things have been happening. She had a tremendous career, gathered hundreds of supporters, even including counselors. She's ambitious, smart, and quite beautiful. Not my type, but her influence over the Council and the Inquisition is grown too strong. There's a secret behind this, I'm sure of it. Corruption, bribery, no doubt, but that's just common stuff. There's something else at work here. So now we have to investigate that. Wait, I supplied him with blood. It's not enough? Huh? Moving forward, I informed Marcus Tudoro about Beatrice, but he has some other news for us instead. We've had terrible news. The king was in a terrible rage and refused to even speak to my cousin about our clemency. His son's wedding was disrupted and the bride is dead. Inquisitors. A group of inquisitors led by some Lady Beatrice accused her of witchery. They produced some evidence so that the court's judgment was swift. That's bad. By the way, that Lady Beatrice you just mentioned paid me a visit. She's looking for you. We have nowhere else to go, so I hope she stops looking before she finds us here. We'll have to stay here for a long time, maybe forever. How can I help? First, we need an improved warehouse and improved campfire. One more tent would be just right so we can take in more refugee. That smells at the cloves. Where is it coming from? I really feel like Lady Beatrice sprayed perfume so she can track where I have been and she can locate this area. But we'll find out eventually, right? So now we have a new quest for the refugee, a better water well, a better storehouse, and a better campfire. Also more tents. Alright, so all in due time because we need to keep the refugees happy in order to continue crafting stuff. So while roaming around, I found these pink things that are just flowing around, and when used with the Witcher's Eye that Chodoro gave us, we can somehow see like the past. They were playing dice right here. Keeper was cheating as Shoulder lost his shirt and his pants and his underwear. So basically we're having a glimpse of the past using the eye and these pink things. So we had a quest where we need vampire jawbone, so we finally found a place where we can get it. So it seems 4 vampires has attacked the astrologer and the keeper here, and one of the vampire jaws were left and buried down here. And now we know who to talk to regarding this vampire jaw. Basically Clotho. And so I paid Clotho a visit, asked her to disenchant the vampire jaw. But before that, let me buy more speed potion because the speed potion is amazing. Anyways, in order to help us, Clotho gave us a recipe for a memory tincture. And so I went to the cellar of the church to craft myself some memory tincture, but I was lacking on one ingredient, gold powder. But good thing I found like a single gold ore stored at my base. So now we have some powder. But first I needed to study it so I can have the recipe of grinding it into powder. So this memory tincture isn't really reliable. So I had to spray my eyes a couple of times before I got it to work. And finally, after it worked, I saw a glimpse of... I'm not really sure how to describe this. But I guess you could say the past, maybe? Do you require another lesson in respects, you miserable worms? It's our fault, mistress. The town is much less friendly to vampires these days. The Order of the Undead Hunters patrol the night streets with nets and catch bats. It's a blessing we managed to make it here at all. You useless nobodies, your endless silly excuses, that's all I get from you. Have you wrung anything more from that priest? We've tried everything, mistress, but Alaric is incredibly resilient. Pain, cold, hunger, thirst, nothing works. Then use bloodthirst, you mindless fools. I mean, we should turn him, but it's an awful sin. It will be done, mistress. Oh no, my eyes. It's like I've been staring at the sun for a whole hour. I've learned something new. I must learn more about that woman. They mentioned the Order of the Undead Hunters, so maybe Shepard knows about her. And of course, Alaric might remember something. There are so many new stuff that I've been discovering in the game. I was even thinking that I was close to beating the game, like unlock the portal and go home, but there's still so much going on. Anyways, after that, I then went to the refugee camp to improve their water well. So now it's the same as ours. It's a pretty useful water well, which it gives you like water directly, no more need for buckets. Anyways, I then gave Miss Charm the perfect song that she wanted. I also informed her that the one who wrote it was Vander, who was like imprisoned at Mountain Fort because he turned into like a monster. Well, not entirely. He's still sane, his mental is the same, but he just looks like a monster. And so she asked me to at least save him. So this is where the astrologer would come in. He would like give his fatherly figure so they can maybe talk to each other and like restore their father and daughter relationship. I then talked to Master Alaric regarding the mysterious woman. About the mysterious woman. I have some new information, Master Alaric, about the vampires who kidnapped you. There was a woman who ordered them to do it and turn you to a vampire. A woman in a black and gold cloak. Have you ever heard anything about her?
Oh no.
I would have remembered if the kidnappers mentioned her, but they didn't. They mentioned ghouls a lot. They said they'd feed me to them if I kept quiet. How foolish. Every adult knows that ghouls don't exist. I think the woman might be the key to our mystery. Sorry I can't help you, but listen, why do you smell so strange? The thing is, when Lady Beatrice visited me, it doesn't matter. I swear to God, if the graveyard keeper just told like Master Alaric, for example, that she sprayed perfume all over the house, maybe we'll have a clue to why she did that. Like maybe it's like a tracking perfume. She can smell it from afar or something. But well, we were ignorant and we didn't explain to Master Alaric, so we will pay the price later on once the refugee camp burns or something. And finally, we were able to catch Nick, so I asked him regarding my last and final task. So basically, with the hunter's medallion that we got from the person we killed with a giant boulder, he wants me to dive deeper in the dungeon and get a golden apple. I can easily buy this from Coloto though, but I just decided to go for the dungeon instead. And so in the 11th floor, there seems to be a golem-like monster and it drops graphite. Awesome. And because of my oversupply of wine that my zombies make, I am not scared of anything and I just face tank most of the monsters here because I can just drink my wine if ever I'm low enough. I then visited the Inquisitor and this is what he had to say. Dark days for humankind. I have two pieces of news for you, one bad and one good. First, the bad news. I'm sorry to say, but there's a chance our king is possessed. He's been talking too much recently about humanity and human rights. I had an audience with him and he told that it's not okay to just grab people without any evidence and burn them alive. This is the proper way, honestly. So we need to put our little burning on pause until we bring him some evidence. So here's the good news. I know where we can get this evidence. Not long ago, we were interrogating a witch. She swore up and down that she was innocent, but just after her death, a big ghost that looked like a chicken with red eyes appeared above her. And the ghost with the creepy voice said that the reckoning is at hand and the ancient curse returns. Soon the dead will wage war upon the living. Sounds like witchcraft to me, but we decided to ask someone from the university about this ancient curse. We had one of them in the next cell over. In fact, he told us that once a terrible curse was laid upon the town, it was quieted by an ancient contract. The first sign of the curse return should be dark magic organs inside corpses. We'll need to gather them. Dark heart, dark brain, and a dark intestine. How do I get those? Find them in corpses and bring them to me as evidence for witchcraft for the king. And so that's our current mission with the Inquisitor. So he will teach us a way to extract these dark brain, heart, and intestine. So whenever we get corpses now, we have a chance of getting those. Also, there's a new perk here which can make us see if we will get like a white skull or a red skull when extracting an organ from the body. That's pretty neat, honestly. Anyways, back to Miss Charm. I then went to the astronomer and told him that Miss Charm needs some help. There's one young man. Well, right now he's not exactly a man. Long story short, he's in danger. He's been imprisoned at the mountain fort. Your daughter wants to save him. Well, she said she loves him, so if you help her, we release him. It would be a good first step. Interesting. The fort is closed and strictly guarded. I've been there once on an archaeological expedition. It didn't end well, and we accidentally blew up the northern pass. It wasn't our fault. The Great Plus interfered with our calculations. The Lord Commander sent them to kill me. We barely made it out alive, but many years have passed. I think we could arrange a new expedition by order of the university, and then we might covertly release this young man. How are you going to arrange it? You don't even work there anymore. We're members of the inner circle. Lovers' quarrels are easy to mend. I just need to show them that I've made progress in my studies and I'm in again. Not really, I feel so empty inside and now I can't think of anything besides my daughter. You need to help me. You're a smart young man. Do you know how to write? Write a book. It shouldn't be too bad, but write whatever you want. With my Steam name on a cover, it should do well. Okay, I need to write a book. I need to do it fast before the day ends. So I got working on making the book and I hurriedly do so because I don't want to wait another week for this. And once I got the book, I then delivered it to the astrologer. He said it was good and then he told me that I should wait a week. So, oh my god, we have no choice but to wait a week. But at the very least, we don't have to wait 2 weeks because we're submitting it now. Afterwards, I proceeded to the dungeon because currently I don't really have any other quests I'm looking forward to finishing aside from Astrologer and Miss Charm, which can give me the 2 ingredients for returning home. So I just focus mainly on raiding the dungeon so we can finish this quest from Snake. The next quest I prioritize is the Inquisitor. So the 4 people that will give us the last remaining 4 items in order to return home. After dungeon diving, just look at this body that I have right now. Take a look inside and we got one of the items we need for the Inquisitor, a Dark Intestine. I then resumed my dungeon diving and finally reach the end of it. So here we have the golden apple that Snake wanted. Let's go. I of course take a break from time to time and go to the refugee camp in order to continue improving their daily lives. So just look at this upgrade I made to their campfire. They're living pretty well now. Just look at the improvement from the first day we saw this camp. They have the garden beds, they have a kitchen table, they have actually a lot of things here. I totally forgot about the guy who would build like a tavern for us, so I spoke with him again. So in order to build a tavern, we'll need to pay him 50 silver, and I have enough money for that because we don't really have any use for our gold right now. He gave me a day to wait before he finished the tavern, and oh my god, that was fast. They built everything here in just a day. They're crazy. Gary doesn't seem to like the tavern, but I think it's a pretty decent looking tavern. So for our first task here is to make a wooden doll to man this tavern. So yeah, that's great. Automation. We have someone that will work in the tavern for us. I then went to Snake and gave him the golden apple that he wanted. Give it to me. I'll just lick it. I don't want to have too much knowledge. You want a lick too? What the heck? Okay, sure. Now I understand what the last line of the ritual was about. The final ingredient. I finally know what the heart of the ancient curse is. I need a dark heart. Oh my god. Oh, I have a problem right here. I only got like 1 dark heart and I'm just reserving it for the Inquisitor since we'll be seeing him tomorrow. But since Snake needs it now, I think I'll just give it to him. Just a second, wait here. I need to gather my followers again. How long do I need to wait? He's sacrificing me again, isn't it? It's hard, at least an hour, maybe 2. What a stupid question. Of course it's me. I wouldn't miss this ceremony for the world. It should be hilarious. Do you know what Snake is going to summon? It's hard, yes, actually. As his inner voice, I know who he would like to summon. But I have another guess about who he's actually going to get, and I can't wait to see, so let's wait. Who would he summon? Today I get what I have wanted for my entire life. What does he want? I curse all of them, all of my anger. I sacrifice it for you. Appear among us, I beg you. Is it going to be the chicken again? Father! What? 5 guardsmen, wait here. 4 others, go with... Why is this guy got summoned? Sorry, this is brilliant. Father? Where? What? Blood magic. Now I see it's you. I remember your face. My son is dead. You are a creature of darkness. He was burned with his mother. That was on Witch Hill. Mother threw me out of the window just before the beam collapsed. You wove me a small horse out of vines. I called it Flame. Son, is it you, Seth? I am your father. What? Really? Wait, why did the guards come here? What's happening? Monsieur, we're here. You disappeared. Grab him, boys. No, stop. Let them go. Return to headquarters. Do it. Son, it's like a dream. So we can go too? Of course, go. Just don't ruin the moment. I better go too. This is such a twist. It seems that my ritual was a success after all. Here, my endless notebook is yours. I hope it'll help you to get back to your loved one. Thanks. And take my eternal burning coal. I don't think I want to burn any bodies anymore. Wait, what? We don't even need to 100% the Inquisitor anymore. Or Edward. What are you going to do about the guardsmen? They saw us. We need to get back to the town first. What a twist, but old Gary knew. I want to step closer to my love. What am I missing now? So the only thing I need to do now before I can return home by making the portal is to finish the quest line for Miss Charm and the astrologer, because they both have the necklace and the golden angle. But there's still so many things I need to do in the game, like, for one, manage this tavern. There's also that ghost. If you remember, I haven't really started anything for the ghost. We also have the refugee camp to improve, and there's also the case about the vampires. Anyways, I totally ignored these two because I wasn't really that interested in spiritualism at the moment. But let's find out what we can do here. Since honestly, I'm just waiting for the day we can talk to Miss Charm and the astrologer. I was going to say I got the final piece of the dark parts already, but we already gave the heart to Snake. But then again, we don't really need to complete our quest with the Inquisitor, but I still want to though. I have both the Dark Brain and the Dark Intestine now. As for the heart, we don't have it, and today is Inquisition Day. So I just gave the Inquisitor the Dark Brain and the Dark Intestine. So I guess we'll have to wait till next week or till we get like the heart from a random corpse. But I already have the Burning Coal, so I don't really want to worry that much, but I am still curious what will happen if we get everything. Anyways, I then visited the astrologer since he was available now. But now he wanted me to write a gold star book. So I need to hurry for this one as well, so we can wait for one more week, and finally maybe we can resume with our quest. I just decided to buy some covers from him because making this is pretty time consuming, and I really need to hurry or else we'll be waiting 2 weeks to finish this quest. I then submitted the gold star book to the astrologer, and then, like I assumed, he told me to wait for another week. Why'd you have to go and do that? If you had intervened, I would have that bloodsucker, or he would have dealt with you in half a second. Sorry about that. I promise it won't happen again. Good, he didn't stand a chance. You saw how he was so frightened he went deaf. So confident. About the mysterious woman. Don't leave your home without weapon, keeper. These days, we must be on the lookout. Evil is everywhere. No kidding. Tell me, what do you know about a woman in a black and gold cloak? Is she a werewolf, an evil spirit, a rider with burning skull instead of a head? She might be a vampire, but I'm not sure. Then let's go kill her, dissect her, and find out. Well, she was around 30 years ago, but who knows where she is now or if she's even alive. A black and gold cloak. I remember one fresco. I always admired it when I visited a town cathedral as a child. It was called Master versus Vampire Queen, and the queen wore a cloak like the one you mentioned. Who else might know about the Vampire Queen? Gary. So while waiting for another week for the astrologer, I just did a bunch of miscellaneous stuff that don't need waiting. I also finally gave this ghost the pie that he wanted to eat. Eaten for 100 years. Your question. So who are you? Like I said before, I don't know. All I remember is that I got here by falling out of a device. I remember the keeper who was here hanging around the place. He said I'm a half ghost, half man. He didn't like to talk to me much, but I don't know why. He was very withdrawn. What do you know about this place? This is where the keeper made his special mechanisms and device to heal souls and send them to the land of the dead. Land of the dead. What do you mean? From what? From sins, of course. In ancient times, souls passed to the other side naturally. As they crossed the bridge, their souls were purified of all the sins they've gathered throughout their lives in preparation for the new cycle. But after the ancient curse, the order was violated and souls remained locked in this world. The keeper who made this place was determined to release them, for no one knows the consequence of leaving souls trapped here. So what happened to the keeper? He said his time here was over, then he left. He said goodbye to me, sealed this room, and never returned. Nor can I ever seek him out or leave this place, because without the box, I soon decay. Okay, so that was pretty interesting. Anyways, let's continue our quest with this guy as well. So I brought some oil so we can open this hatch right here. Inside was a room that was pretty dirty and broken all over, but it's something that we can fix. Anyways, there seems to be an artifact here, but in order to know more, this guy wanted me to fix everything down here first before he can explain further. Also, if you remember, I needed to craft this wooden doll so it can man the tavern. It's pretty much lifeless, but we have our friend Yorick that can possess this doll and manage a tavern. So it seems he is an experienced bartender before he died. So yeah, he'll be managing our tavern. Aside from that, now that we have our tavern, we can continue with the fact that the reason for this tavern was to dig up that inventor keeper's body or technology. So I dug up a wall, and here we have the technology that the old keeper was in. And as you can see, the old keeper's bones are still here. There's a skeleton. Don't pay attention. It's the inventor, that inventor keeper. Do you know how to use this device? The old keeper even didn't ever let me get close. There must be instructions. I see them. He loved writing instructions. It works. We only need to put an artifact into this hole, and we'll witness a scene from the far past. There must be an itemized list of artifacts in the instructions. By the way, the wrong order of artifacts could cause an apocalypse. And here he included a complete list. The old keeper already handled most of the research. It says right here, the first is the statuette of the ancient god, and the machine says, let's look, the statuette owner, Horatic. I'll put it more simply, take the statuette from Horatic and bring it here, and take care of the corpse. Who's the keeper here, me or you? Alright, so we gotta teleport to the dead horse and get the statuette from Horatic. And so I asked about the statuette from Horatic, and he told me to talk to his wife, Miss Charm. Miss Charm then told me that I can get the statuette if I do her some favor, like investigate Horatic and Cresvold. She recently smelled some woman's perfume on Horatic, so she's pretty sus about her husband. And so I talked to Horatic about it, but he did not want to tell me anything at all. So I went and talked to Cresvold the blacksmith instead. So he mentioned that Horatic was actually trying to buy a perfume for his wife since their anniversary is coming up. So I will report that to Miss Chain. And so I told Miss Chain about her misunderstanding, and she gave me the statuette. I then went back to where Gary was and placed the statuette at the machine. A long time ago, the ancient god created the sky, the earth, wheat, whiskey, and 3 priestess sisters to serve him. And he liked it so much that he created priests and legionaries, and many other people to serve him. The people were fools. They knew nothing and could make nothing. But the ancient god was generous, and he gave the people homes, food, water, and clothes. And after death, their souls would float across the ancient bridge and onto the land of the dead. But like all the great stories, love spoiled everything. Wait, what is this? Is this the old dead horse? Wow, that's awesome. Are you playing hide and seek, my red-haired birdie? What the f— I am here, but I grow tired of birds and rabbits and frogs. Is this Horatic and Miss Charm? I get it. You want to be my kitty. Girl. Kitty, Harry dear, you know what I mean. Yes, just tell me which animal you prefer, and Al. Do you not know that I'm the priestess of the ancient god? Wait, what? Yeah, I know. He chose a destiny for each of us. He chose me to serve him. So it's all for nothing. We can never be together. But my dear Chain, I entirely disagree. What? With that loud song we can. Alright. No, Horatic. My sisters and I, we can see future, and I saw no future for us. Well, that just means you're not looking closely enough. We'll be together, I swear. Ori, wait. Even the ancient god won't stop me. This is basically a video player then. Yeah, it works. Amazing. Look at the date. That was like 210 years ago. And they're still alive? How could he have seen Heretic and Chain there? Yeah, they must be a little older than they look. Maybe they use cosmetic and live a healthy lifestyle. By the way, you can watch scenes more than once. Let's go on. So the next one is an ancient wine flask, and Adam owns it, the farmer's son or the miller. Now it's just static. You'll need to check all the people I mentioned. But what should I do with the statuette? Keep it under my pillow? Why not? Or build a special case in your tavern and put it there. Lots of people go crazy for ancient junk. Some might even pay to view it. Graveyard keeper, garden keeper, tavern keeper, and now museum keeper. Alright, awesome. So above the tavern, there's a perfect spot to place the artifact. So I placed the statuette there. I then went to the farm to talk to the miller who has the next artifact, the wine flask. Excuse me, but do you have a wine flask? Of course not. Alcohol is disgusting, except of course my special wheat whiskey. And what do you drink from this whiskey? Straight from the barrel in my cellar. So I assume we can locate where the flask we're looking for inside his cellar, but we don't really have access unless we get like 80 friendliness with Miller. Anyways, this concludes our 200 days. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Bye now!